And Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3 have happened. And I can say Formula 3, Formula 2 was interesting. Formula 1 less interesting. That was something that happened. Let's see. Where do we have the information? We need to fix. So we can start with Formula 3. See. Formula 3. Feature race, what the fuck you call it? Floersch was close to getting points. Let's see, did something happen in Formula 3 that was... Yeah, a lot of stuff you can say happened. I think it is the bigger reason why Floersch is P11. So many people... Let's see, now you can see it. Oh, maybe not many DNF'd. But many was like they got pushed out and everything and lost position, and so Floersch could maybe got her first points this season. Oh, Ferrari from being nowhere got some points. So he had a not fun race to drive. Yeah, then it was, I think, a lot of moving fights between the middle drivers. But the biggest part, I would say the most amazing thing, Dino Beganovic started 5th, I think. Yeah, 5th. Got a really start because someone before him, that I had in the start, didn't get away. So he got one position in the start, and then just slowly get past people and was almost fighting for the win, like Landooooo. And then yeah, he almost lost it in one corner. But then he started to... Mini started to fight with him, and then... Yeah, didn't... Wait. Mansell. Was it really Mansell P4? I think someone else. When we got past... I believe someone else. Oh my god, let's see. Starting position. Oh, Tran started up there. So he must not be the one that didn't get away. Yeah, either way, the Luke Browning was leading every lap, I think. They started good, they just led the lap. Fight between Mini and Beganovic in the end. And yeah, it was, you could say, a fight that Lando Norris and Max Verstappen should have had, but didn't. And then Beganovic and Mini finished 2-3. So Beganovic got some nice points and podium. So I would say Formula 3 for me was amazing. Then we have Formula 2. We want this. And I would say Formula 2 also was amazing. Hager didn't have a great start because he never got away when the formation lap started. So he was out from the picture like in the beginning. And then it was let's see, did someone else bleed? No, I think Bortoletto was leading really early. And then after Bortoletto went into the pit stop, then Colapinto was leading. And Prema had a somewhat bad race again. Oliver Behrman, DNF, Antonelli. I mean, he continued and tried to do something probably. But yeah, Prema still being bad. Yeah, Colapinto stayed out really long. Then come in when it was 6 laps left. And then I think he was 6th or 5th when he will come out. And I also he passed people until it was P2. Maybe he can fought Bortoletto if other stuff happened. But I would say Formula 2 ending was amazing. Bortoletto, first win in Formula 2. You could hear the Brazil national anthem. And sing Colapinto up there. Beautiful. Then it was somewhat interesting fight between Hadjar and Fittipaldi. No, Fittipaldi. The fuck is... Did Marty get a penalty? Fuck. Because Marty was up here. He was the one that was fighting with Hadjar. And maybe ruined Hadjar's chances to maybe get the victory. But either way, I would say the ending of Formula 2 was amazing also. Polar still leading. Bortoletto at least P3. Then we have Formula 1. That nothing was you can say fun to watch. I mean, we can see already here Landon Norris, you can say DNF, and Williams, Mercedes, Aston Martin, Stake F1 team, Kick Sauber, Visa Catcher AB Formula 1 team, Alpine did not have a somewhat great race. I mean, Ricciardo succeeded to get 2 points, Piastri 1 point, Ferrari, Charles Leclerc had a really not fun start. So he finished apparently 11. And then the most not fun part. Kevin Magnusson and Hulkenberg for some reason get this much disgusting point. 12 points in one race. So this Perez can't apparently get past Nico Hulkenberg for some reason. And then we have Max Verstappen for some reason. Maybe Lando Norris can explain why Max Verstappen is P5. And then we have Lewis Hamilton, Carlos Sainz, Oscar Piastri, and George Russell. And man, I don't know what people, whose fault people think the accident was. Only I can say. Either way, who do you think? Either way, you think did the problem? Someone had still most likely a 5-second penalty. So whatever happened after should not have happened, because someone already have this 5-second penalty. Maybe he could have get past and drove away for 5 seconds. Probably not. So I would say his maybe race to win was already over. So why try so hard to win a race that you maybe can't, because you already, for some reason, you already driven out so many times. So now you get penalties for being outside the line. And you're trying to overtake is like pushing Max Verstappen out. It's like, is that how you try to overtake? So that leads to George Russell winning. So it's like, that ending of the race, man, was not fun. So yeah, we will be back collecting fishes. Let's see, I believe 1,803 tropical fishes in the collection. Yes. God damn it. One more chicken for the annoying chicken collection. Okay, so let's continue. Let's see when we get our first fish for today. So I would say I can understand why Max Verstappen got a penalty, but Lando Norris shouldn't already be there. It's like how Kevin Magnussen drives. He have a penalty. Okay, what do you do with the penalty? He drives even worse. He ruined even more stuff for other people when he already have a penalty. It's like, you shouldn't be there, so why you fighting for something you will not get? So that's my opinion. And clearly Lando Norris couldn't get past Max Verstappen cleanly for some reason. So he don't succeed doing a nice cleanly overtake. Try something new. After having 5 seconds penalty, probably. I mean, that's so interesting. I mean, this I 100% believe. They wanted to wait with the 5 second penalty when it was closer to the end, or I mean, if Lando Norris succeeding to get 5 seconds ahead Max Verstappen in the end, then I maybe will, oh yeah, right, Lando Norris need a 5 second penalty. And sure if Max Verstappen do something. Maybe they will like, Max already did something also, so we both give them 5 seconds. Also, where is the first fish for the collection? Man, the fuck did you go? There. Fucking trying to hide. I'm briny orange lime. So, yeah. Like I don't know if I have anything more to like say, so we go to the. Oh yeah, Charles Leclerc had a. Oh yeah, fuck me, that I could say. Landon Norris, no. Man, the fuck did Sergio Perez do on this race? First he drives, so Charles Leclerc drives into Oscar Piastri. That ruined Charles Leclerc's race. Then he pushes Oscar Piastri out and almost ruined his race. Then for some reason Oscar Piastri then catch up with Sir Perez and also can overtake him how easily as possible. Someone can actually overtake someone. And then we have yeah. So if Oscar Piastri was never part of this first stuff things that happened, could this made him win this race? Who knows? So let's see if we can.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, get. Yeah. Also, man. Not this was. I think I hate more the commentary after. How the commentary I heard said about Max Verstappen, because man, Lando Norris didn't make his case so fucking good in the lead up to what Dan Max did. So let's see what the Matt think about the Charles Leclerc race.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the P1 podcast with Matt and Tommy. Austria happened.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, what a dull race.
Tommy, what? It was supposed to be an absolute stinker. It was
for a lot of it.
It was set that we were going to have one of those. God, wow, Austria really didn't. Was the sprint better than the main race? We were going to have all those kind of conversations, and then Lando versus Max happened.
Yeah, yes, and Danny's man. So fucking boring ending. Lando Norris never got the chance to get past him cleanly. For some reason he needed to do everything else than doing it cleanly. And then it leaves out them both get the tires ruined. Or puncture. It's like, man, that was funny.
Thought we'd be having a conversation about the Alpines bringing the spice to that race and a few cheeky radio messages and moves, and then Formula One dropped an even bigger chaos bomb. Probably the biggest chaos bomb. I think we were chatting about this beforehand. I've not felt like this after a race since like 2021 in terms of like, this is so dramatic. We have not had something like this in so long. It is one of those days where...
Well, 2022... I wouldn't say it's dramatic, but it was a fight, at least, in Bahrain. And... France... didn't directly have a fight, but Charles Leclerc crashed out. and he might have crashed out more than one time that season. But yeah, the only dramatic was the fucking punchers afterwards.
Imagine not liking F1 because oh my word, I set the baby alarm off from shouting so loudly at the TV. Yeah, crazy.
It was absolutely ridiculous. Of course, we'll post our reaction stuff over on P1 Extra and all that sort of stuff for you to enjoy as well. Because if you don't, watch us on Twitch,
so.
Firstly, where were you? But secondly, it was energetic. Now, before we dive into the main podcast,
where was I? I was watching Lando Norris ruin his chances to maybe easily win a race. That apparently wasn't easily.
we are going on tour in the USA and Canada.
Okay, I don't care about this fucking shit.
Go to America and Canada, aren't we, Tommy? It's going to be... I mean, we'll have some things to talk about.
Yeah, I was about to say, when we first started organising a tour, it's probably like, yeah, we're like, oh yeah, it would still be amazingly good fun, as it always is.
Probably not.
You know, we did our live shows after 2023, but boy, what a season this is turning out to be. We have got a lot of spice to deliver.
Absolutely. Now,
I don't think so.
We're both having the same memorable moment in this one because we got to get. We got to get. Well, actually, I could easily make one about Charles Leclerc. You know, I always could. But let's just. It's everyone's most memorable moment. We're going to dive straight into it because we're not going to mess around. Verstappen versus Norris.
Man, come on. Man, act like a normal human.
I don't know where to begin. It's been so many years since we've had such a contentious collision that, well...
I've never had a million things to say and also don't know what to say.
Well, let's start with the first question, and it comes in from N33_Emma. Who was at fault? Max or Lando?
The collision, you can say more Max. But the lead up, Lando Norris did so much bad stuff before that. I mean, like, didn't he twice try to get inside Max Verstappen and just push him out? And he then also didn't take a corner, so he went outside. Have now probably a penalty. So he do everything wrong until Max Verstappen slightly touch him and they both get puncture. So the collision, Max, the lead up, Lando Norris.
Lando. Max Verstappen was at fault. Absolutely, categorically, no debate from my side, at least, when we are talking about that particular incident. I will say...
the only thing, everything else, Lando Norris.
That I don't think it was a horrendous thing that Max did. I think it was rather unfortunate.
Lando Norris did worse, but didn't hit Max.
But it was also Max's fault. He was playing with fire. A few laps before that, they were running off the track. There was...
Lando Norris did everything before that.
Squeezing. There was late moves, which we will get onto as well, because I'm not happy about that with what Max was doing, and he denied that he was doing anything wrong in the car in the post-race interview, which I found very interesting. But more specifically
did you see Lando Norris
this
driving?
Incident, the crash, it was just a wheel bang that gave both of them punctures and changed the entire complexion of the race. That could have easily just been a bounce and they carried on for another 5 laps.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, well, the guy
so
sat
lame
here...
that they both get puncture. Or they got even puncture, either of them. Like, man. Just, Lando Norris, just wait until Max Verstappen make a mistake and then you overtake him.
In a Netherlands football shirt with a Max Verstappen flag behind him is probably thinking I'm going to say Lando's at fault, but no, it was definitely Max's fault. He moved over. It wasn't an incredibly dirty move. Some of his others were questionable, but the one that actually put them put Lando out the race and put Max down the order was probably the most nothing incident of the lot, really, because there were so many contentious moments where before that you had maybe a bit of a late move. Max even at one point let Lando push him off so he could stay ahead to maybe get the stewards to go, oh, has he been forced off? Otherwise, which is ironically exactly what he did to Charles Leclerc in 2019 that we spoke about on our Patreon. But that move, it was really unfortunate because it so easily could have just been a little bump on the wheels. But what I will say is that this was happening with so many laps to go. I didn't think they'd crash, but it really did feel like, well, how long can this keep going on for? Because it was just lap after lap where Norris got an amazing run, and it was just happening every lap, and you just thought, like, what extent is Verstappen gonna?
Lando Norris succeeded to do nothing, almost. Like he should. I don't know if waiting would have helped him in this time, but man, it felt like he should just have waited.
Go to stop this happening, and the answer was move over, and they both get puncture.
Yes, as we said, I don't think it was anything nasty, or I think it's more just a slight misjudgment from Max's side. You know, when you look at the incident, he's sort of squeezing Lando onto the exit curve ever so slightly, which is not technically a car's width because the track is that white line. So yeah, I'm not going to be too harsh on Max in this particular incident, but there were some that could have caused a massive crash, which didn't, which I think we'll probably get into shortly. Next question, P1 Patreon member, Lumixion. Has Max become unfamiliar with genuine pressure from another driver? Has being in such a dominant position with his skill and...
I would say no, but if your car is started to be bad, you can say you start.
Car dulled his racecraft. Now, I love Lumixion, one of our GOAT Twitch viewers. However, no. He's not unfamiliar with genuine pressure. I don't think his racecraft has changed at all. The discussion that we've had, which we haven't really been able to measure until now, perhaps, is since 2021, has Max become a more calm, composed driver behind the wheel because he's in a championship-winning car, because he's got the fastest car? Has he thought, okay, I'm going to be a bit more of a Lewis Hamilton here, a little bit more calculated?
But he didn't have the fastest car. He clearly got catched up. And clearly could maybe got overtaken. So probably not.
Not maybe risk the car. The answer, which I think a lot of people did think anyway, is that he hasn't changed one bit, and that he will fight tooth and nail to the very last lap, to the edge of the rules, and sometimes beyond, to make sure he wins the race.
Yeah, well, this is the end of the race. There's no going back. You can't dry your tires better afterwards. If Lando Norris get past, it's over. So what the fuck are you talking about?
That's what makes him one of the best drivers to ever grace a racetrack. But it will also cost him some victories. And that's what's happened today. Because he had to fight as aggressively as he did. Otherwise, Lando was going through and winning that race. So I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but that's what Max does. And that's why drivers fear him.
Yeah, it is. We had ironically a conversation yesterday about how I thought that Verstappen kind of had Lando in his back pocket a little bit and could just kind of toy with him and whatever. But here, it showed that Max had to give it absolutely everything and more. You know, he was as aggressive, if not as much, as he was with Lewis Hamilton in 2021. He was defending like it was the 2021 World Championship. And that just shows that you say what you like about, oh, he's matured. Well, he has matured a lot. But in terms of, like, will he still drive like this when he has to? Absolutely. And I think it's even more extreme because there's not... It's too early to say there's not a title battle, but he's got a 70-point lead. It's not... And maybe it's another discussion of, like, maybe he is a little bit worried that McLaren seemingly had the best car again, even after qualifying.
Yeah, probably. But he will also, most likely, also 100% want to win. Even if he's leading with maybe 200 points in the end. Why not get one more win, if you can?
When I said, oh, it's over, like, how are we back to this? Or, like, the McLaren is incredibly quick. McLaren could have won the last 5 or 6 races now.
Yeah,
it's crazy. And
man, it become like I thought it would be. Lando Norris could win one more race, something happened, and he will not win the race. But man, I didn't think Lando Norris will be part of the thing that ruined his race. I thought it will be probably safety car or something, but no. The fight between Max Verstappen and Lando Norris and the win chance.
Max had to give it absolutely everything.
And apparently Lando Norris also trying to get past him. I mean, even if Max Verstappen maybe didn't get pushed out, Norris didn't take the corner cleanly, so he could easily overtake Max Verstappen.
It is really fascinating that I thought that maybe after 2021 and how incredibly close it was and the incidents that he had, say with like Lewis Hamilton, it was obviously like Hamilton's fault by the stewards of Silverstone, and the fact that maybe he reflects on the end of the year and goes, well, if I'd just given Lewis P1, I'd finish P2, I'd win the championship easily, it's absolutely fine. Clearly that is not the case. He has shown today that Max Verstappen would rather finish 5th and end up with a puncture and take you out the race than he would to give an inch.
Yeah, man, that's the fighting spirit. I win or nobody wins, except now George Russell won a second time, and Lewis Hamilton have still not won in since 2021 Saudi Arabia. So man, George Russell can celebrate maybe even more now.
To anyone to win the race, he does not want to settle for second because there were so many laps left. It really.
Yeah, it was a lot of laps left, so maybe Lando Norris could have waited and waited for it cleanly overtake.
Felt like that battle, he couldn't have maintained that surely for 10 laps because.
Yeah, so Lando Norris could have waited.
Every single lap it was so marginal. Every single move was controversial. Like every incident that Lando went for a move, it was either a questionable defending, it was going off track, it was wheel banging, like.
And everything Lando Norris did so Lando Norris did nothing.
It wasn't like it was just like, oh, I could do it here, I could hold on, it's worth it. It felt like he was never going to be able to hold him off, and that's why he had to go to such extreme measures. But
yeah, he felt like Lando Norris could never overtake either. So
it's crazy that apparently 70 points in the lead, still is happy to drive like that.
Oh, I think it's testament to his character and the way he's been brought up that he, I mean, through some very questionable parenting, as we've heard,
yeah, he just washed up
it's
and had not a
literally
clean.
ingrained in him that he has to win, no matter what. Like, otherwise he's letting his father down or whoever. He has to win. And I wouldn't even say it's that he's worried about McLaren. He is just there every time he's on a track to do the absolute best, no matter what. And
Like every racing driver should be. Well, maybe the not the top 5 teams maybe doesn't do that. That would maybe make your morale really not happy. If you go into a race, oh, I will win this race in a haas, and then the season is over, you have the only thing you can celebrate is points.
And as I say, that's what makes him such a fearsome driver on track, and some drivers don't even bother trying to go for a move. But I think we can
and
now
he's set that precedent, hasn't he? It's a conversation that we had, and we've had many times, that when he didn't have a dominant car, he would make these moves that's like, get out the way, I'm crashing. And Ayrton Senna did this. Ayrton Senna was a bit before my time, but you can see it in the Senna documentary. It's spoken about. It's spoken about the
Probably lies.
Ayrton Senna had this reputation of, I'm coming through, and if you don't let me through, we're crashing. So it's up to you. And Max Verstappen has taken that exact philosophy into his driving, and that is why someone like Lando Norris, until today and this year, had that reputation of, he always just like lets Max by and he doesn't want to race him. Well, that's definitely...
Okay, so I have never thought that. I mean, of course you don't want to race a car that you actually can't race. That would just be stupid. If you can get P2, why not drive for that? If you can't even try to get P1.
Definitely been squashed now because, oh my word.
I did find it very interesting after the race, listening to some of the post-race interviews, because I wanted to get a feel and a gauge of how each team were going to channel their messaging of what happened between the two of them. And Andrea Stella, who I thought might have been a little bit, I don't know, I just feel as though he's not the most
more of a chill guy,
forthcoming with sort of aggressive opinions. But he said, look, this has not been addressed, basically, to sort of shorten what he says, is that Max has done things like this in 2021, and sometimes it's been swept under the rug or not really dealt with, and it's going to come back. And it did come back. And once again, he's doing that exact same kind of maneuvers.
Yeah, and it's a really interesting point, because you set...
But one thing that I would say that can be really ironic, the only thing I believe, at least until now, I have not seen anything else, because I have also not looked up. The only thing Max Verstappen got penalty for was the contact with Lando Norris, nothing else. So did he ever do anything wrong then? I mean, if he did something wrong, wouldn't he get penalty for that also?
A precedent with how you know, Max's driving has never... You look at Max's career, and he's done a lot of these kind of maneuvers, and it's like, well, I've won 60-odd races, I've won world championships, so like, I'll carry on driving like this, thank you very much. And until it's like stamped out, they try and do things, but he will always bend the rules, and it's actually...
Yeah, but did he break any rules? I mean, if he didn't, he did nothing wrong, right?
Quite funny that in there was a late move which I think was very questionable from
it was, or was it? Did he get a penalty for it? If I mean, they liked how Kevin Magnussen drove in Saudi Arabia and everything because the team got points. But now you can question if the drivings, you shouldn't do stuff that are bad in Formula 1. But I would say, Kevin Magnussen at least get penalty for what he did and ruin the races for other people. A penalty and then ruin the race after that. Max Verstappen only got penalty for the contact with the Lando Norris.
Max, when Lando did the dive bomb initially, it was a move that actually got kind of dubbed the Verstappen move way back in like 2016 or whatever, that they were trying to cut down on people doing like a late move when someone's already committed. And he did that, and as soon as he did it, and we were discussing on Twitch, is he going to...
Oh my god, and still I believe it. Lando Norris did moves that was like, it felt like he couldn't take the corner. Twice, I believe. Just like, so Lando Norris did nothing
get a penalty
either.
or not? I was like, no, because Ocon did it 10
Only Max did stuff, not Lando Norris.
laps earlier, and they didn't do anything about it. And even incidents when it's other drivers, as soon as you set that boundary, particularly someone like Max Verstappen will just go, well, I'll do it then. Like,
yeah, I mean, if he doesn't get a penalty for it, he did nothing wrong.
Until there is some kind of punishment to make the risk versus reward, it's calculated. He's like, well, he even bent the rules going around the outside of Lando when because he knows that he backs off, Lando makes that move, Lando stayed on the track, it's probably a fair move and it's done.
Stayed on the track? Yeah, but the way he stayed on the track. Did he left anything for Max Verstappen, more or less? Did he even take the corner? He didn't do you can say, cleanly. He had to drive over the whole road and then he turned, instead of just taking the corner.
Max keeps his foot in, goes round the outside, and he can then have the argument of, oh, I've been forced off the track. Like, it's all...
Man, even if he didn't, Lando Norris drove like he pushed Max Verstappen off.
All calculated to basically give the stewards a tough time. And for all the complaining that I just said about the stewards, I wouldn't want to be a steward trying to make these decisions with someone like Max Verstappen.
Why not? You clearly can see someone was in the wrong. Now you mean you can't see it? That's weird.
Because he is Schumacher-like and Senna-like in the fact that he will do everything within the rules and more to do whatever he can to win, and it's shown it.
So we ending up with he did nothing wrong until the contact
today.
He certainly has. Yes, you brought up some other points there. There was one
and
where
still, all this happened. I don't know when Lando Norris got the when he could maybe get the 5-second penalty for driving over the line. I mean, after he did that, for me it felt like, okay, you will probably get a penalty. Your chance to win is smaller now. So why fight like you have no penalty still?
And obviously went down the inside. He was staying on the track, and maybe half the field of drivers would have tried to hang it round the outside, bounced over the exit curb, lost the position, and Lando would have taken the lead. But instead, Max basically realised very quickly, oh, there's not a lot of room out here. Let me accelerate and make sure I get the best run ever. And
wait, so you mean there were no room? So Lando Norris did squeeze Max Verstappen out, and Max Verstappen just drove like he will be squeezed out, and everything just perfectly lined up. Man, the brain thinking is fine.
Stay ahead of Lando, and then, as you say, have that argument. If for whatever reason, well, I say whatever reason, but
you gave the reason. There were no room, so Max Verstappen can so easily say Lando Norris squeezed him out. The fuck you mean?
If the stewards look into it, then they can say, well, look, Red Bull can say, well, this happened 5 times in the race earlier. People have been going off and coming back on, and because I remember literally watching doing the watch along and going, okay, that happened 10 laps ago with Ocon and Gasly or whoever it was. What did the stewards do then? And they didn't do anything, I don't think. But I do like that to a degree. I want them to race. I want them to be aggressive with each other. And I love that Max takes things to the extreme, because
you love, but you apparently don't like it because it's against the rules.
Well, apart from obviously the late moves that can cause a crash, but the ones where he's just thinking on his feet and trying to the absolute limit to make sure we get as close racing as possible and for Max to stay ahead. That was amazing to watch. Because if Max just let him through...
Oh, light grey.
We wouldn't be talking about this.
Yeah, so
nice.
true. Love him or hate him. my God, like, I challenge any Formula One fan to say they didn't enjoy that that battle, because
Well, the ending was bad. So can you enjoy something that ended bad? It's like pretending Star Wars is good now because it started good. And how it starts now? Really bad. Okay.
Lando's Norris fans may
well,
miss
yeah, true.
one or two things.
But yeah, it was quite incredible to watch. It was like being in.
Or Lord of the Rings. Man, the movies was great. Rings of Power must be really good now. I mean, they don't make that good because other stuff was
21 again, and it feeling like everything's on the line here. It was quite crazy.
7 Francis B7 asks, with the fight at the front closer, should we expect to see more of old aggressive Max, otherwise known as Max? Will we see more of Max? Yes, I think so. Yeah, for sure. He will not change. He won't change. If he's 50 points behind in the championship, if he's 50 points ahead in the championship, if he's just on the track, he will be trying everything in his power. If there are rules that are put in to stop this from happening, then of course Max will have to be less aggressive, otherwise he's going to get penalties all the time. But I don't think that's going to happen somehow. It's not going to change. But as we just said,
I mean, the thing that can change everything, if everything you think Max Verstappen is doing is bad, actually get penalties for it. If he doesn't get it, he does nothing wrong. So until he get any penalties for his so-called driving, he do nothing wrong. So you can't blame him.
God, does it make it entertaining?
It really does.
It's like if you have a rule that say you can't drive over the white line, and then someone do that, and you don't get a penalty for it, you don't get any information that that was bad, you will continue drive over the white line. And after 10 years, nobody still complain about it. You will probably still drive over the white line.
It's a tough, it's maybe a different debate to this question, but it is a tough call for the stewards, because as a Formula One fan, you know, we're watching.
How can it be so tough ruling? Sounds like it's so 100% clear. Max Verstappen did everything wrong, and then, but you can't clearly say that. Okay, so Landooooo is part of the problem.
The stewards, and this goes again to saying I wouldn't want to be the stewards in this situation, because you're watching these incredible drivers battling and giving it everything and doing questionable moves, and Norris had a track limit penalty and stuff.
Yeah, track limit that took so long time to. I mean, after the collision happened, then we can give Landooooo a penalty now. Now they have crashed. His race is ruined. Now we can give the 5 seconds.
Well, a black and white flag before the incident. We'll get into this later, but we were going on the Twitch like, oh, just let them race, just let it happen. But the stewards also have to make sure they're not breaking the rules. But then they are the party poopers if they say, well, Max, you're getting a 20-second penalty, and we go, oh, the race is well done, you've killed the race, like this is boring. Or same with Lando's move.
I will agree with that. But that means they waited with a 5-second penalty when it was maybe 100% a 5-second penalty. So, the fuck do you mean? You want the judges not to rule that Norris did something wrong, but you complain that that Max Verstappen do something wrong. You want people to do something wrong, and then you complain that people do something. What the fuck is wrong with you?
He went off, and then that was the track limit warning, and oh, just let it go. We want to see them keep fighting. Like, there's that weird line of like, don't ruin this, let them go at it, but you also need to police it, particularly when it's someone like Max Verstappen who will do.
Yeah, so the fuck do you want them to do? Or what the fuck do you want Max Verstappen to do? You want him to do everything he did, but you also don't want him to do everything he did. Does that mean you're fucking
did
retarded?
everything to make and more.
It's a fine line, isn't it, between entertainment
fine
and
line,
actual
yeah.
sport.
Being
Like, it has to be
retarded and just spraying
sporting.
them.
We have to make sure we follow rules here because it is a championship and we're trying to
Exactly.
crown a winner. But yeah, interesting. Next question, Rabbi Math. Is it enough to just give a time penalty to Max? He finished and got championship points. Norris didn't. Not
Yeah,
sure
but I don't know. Well, Landooooo didn't try to do anything, but he ended the race. So he could maybe continue.
exactly what Rabbi is suggesting here. This is an on-track moment.
You can't take
Gets a
consequence.
penalty.
And
Well, exactly. We can't say that. Oh well, actually no, Max. You have also DNF'd because
But they do. And you have also proven it many times. When I did, nobody cared how you do stuff like Alonso did in Australia. Before, nope. But after George Russell crashed, then the stewards cared about how Alonso made George Russell crash.
you caused that DNF with Norris. That would be wild. So you have to.
I mean, they waited after the collision with giving Lando Norris penalty, so they wait with stuff until they feel like, oh, now we can do it.
We hear it all the time, don't we? Oh, Silverstone 2021. Should Hamilton have gotten a 12-week race ban?
He
All this
should
sort of
have.
stuff because Max went into the wall. It has to be like this. We can't
Season ban should maybe have happened.
change it, and I don't think you should change it because it would open even a bigger can of worms if you then take every consequence that ever happened. It just wouldn't work. So this is the way it has to be for me.
yeah, 100.
Fuck you talking about? You can't police everything, but you should police everything. I mean, I look at how Max drove all the time against Lando Norris. Okay, so you want policing every time or you don't? Why are you so fucking stupid? Just say sometimes it's more important to look on what a driver do every time, and sometimes you can overlook it. It's so hard time.
You can't
say
take
that.
consequence into it. Even, it hurt for Max Verstappen fans or whatever to see that there was an incident, say like 2021, Hamilton goes on to win the race, but you can't.
I mean, that was so disgusting. Charles Leclerc could have so easily won that race, and then no. Let's give Hamilton the race so he can celebrate putting someone in the hospital. What man he cares about? He cares about other people. I mean, I didn't look like that, but he can pretend all the... Fuck. Trident time. Can we... Stop hitting me. Can we get a trident? No, we didn't because I fucked it up. No trident. Okay, continue with the branded takes.
Then just go, oh, he's won now. Actually, that's not very fair. Let's disqualify him. Like, that's not how sport works. You get
That's why the black flag should have come out directly after the crash.
a penalty. Unless you're deliberate.
Why? Yeah, okay. I mean, I was still thinking out the penalty that Lando Norris finally got was off of the collision. I felt like they could have given he was clear over the line, so the 5 seconds should be really easy to give out. But it still happened after the collision, more or less when the race was over for Lando Norris.
Really, like ramming someone off on purpose and going, well, unless you're Kevin
Yeah, Kevin Magnussen does that.
Magnussen at Miami and go 10-second penalties, I'll take them, thanks very much, and you're kind of manipulating it in that sense. It's not really a thing. But one thing that was quite interesting is that Norris, his 5-second penalty that he got, he was actually classified, and if he wasn't classified, his 5-second penalty would have potentially carried over to the next race or something, and there would have been there could have been something there or something. So, but because it got added on,
you wouldn't take a 5-second into the next race. It would be
the penalty. If you don't serve it, there's rules or something that you can.
Oh, so let's see. He got 5 seconds. The 5-second penalty. Will it take him? Will that go to the next race?
I'm not sure if that would be linked with track limits. I don't think he would take something into the next race if it was a track limit violation. I'm not sure about that one. I think if it's crashing...
I saw people on...
I mean, a 5-second penalty. Do you mean the reason why a 5-second penalty is placed makes the difference how they then rule it after the race? I mean, that sounds like a fucking retarded way to then. I mean, after a race, then you must look up. Okay, why was the reason the 5-second was placed? Instead of just the person have a 5-second penalty. This will happen because of that.
On Twitter, like journalists discussing that he was classified and the 5 seconds got added onto his classified time.
Right.
So there's no kind of worry about that, whatever's like any extending of penalties, basically.
Why is that? Okay, interesting. Is that following the rules or not following the rules?
Interesting. Well, yeah, he would never take a 5-second penalty into a next race. That doesn't, you don't carry.
Yeah, but I don't know what the rules are if they could convert it.
You don't know the rules, but you know Max Verstappen clearly did not follow the rules.
To a grid drop or things like that.
I mean, that would have been wild. Let's get into that because that is the next question. Smegmatje. The accident was completely Verstappen's fault, but could this be avoided if the stewards were faster in handing out penalties for Verstappen's moving under braking and or Norris's track limits? Now, we were very, very close to that battle kind of having a quite anticlimactic end.
That also I was thinking. Could Max Verstappen's, what he did, could that have made the stewards like, okay, either we give them both 5 seconds or we don't give any one of them 5 seconds because they both have been over the line now.
Because that incident happened, and I'm pretty sure about 10-15 seconds later, Lando Norris got a 5-second penalty for track limits. And can you imagine the uproar from everybody on social media to have that battle potentially ruined by this penalty that's been handed out to Lando? Yes, there might have still been an interesting thing had Lando got...
If you... Man, you're complaining so much about Max Verstappen not following the 100% rules. He's on the line every time. Lando Norris was clearly over the line. Should have get a penalty. And it took forever for them to give the penalty. So what the fuck? Shouldn't you complain about that?
Got through and tried to extend a 5-second gap. Last lap Lando, part 2, whatever it might have been. But we were so close to that not happening, and then Lando being told you got a 5-second penalty, and then there would have been this whole, any point of even trying to make the move. So, but that specifically,
so should the stewards follow the rules or not follow the rules? I don't understand this complaint about Max Verstappen not following 100% the rules. If you don't want the stewards to follow the rules, to give Lando Norris an easily 5-second penalty for being over the line. The whole car was over the line. That was not hard to see. But you want them to not give that out?
Lando got his... My understanding is Lando got that final track limit warning for battling Verstappen. And I'm not sure how I feel about that.
I hate that rule.
I'm really not sure how I feel about that.
It comes back to the Piastri thing that I said yesterday, like... and this is a really extreme example, but there seems to be this new law that people think that if you go off track, you're like, it's a slam dunk. You've got to stay on the track. Otherwise, floor is lava. You should be thrown out the World Championship because it's the worst thing ever, apparently, if you go off now. Whereas, you know, if you're doing like a lap time and it's raining and you're 20 seconds clear going into the final corner and you run wide, you go through the gravel, you come back on track and you finish the lap, like...
I mean, if it's over the line, it's still over the line. Do you want the rules to be followed or not?
Should you be allowed to finish that lap? In my opinion, yes, because you've not gained an advantage. It's a mistake. You've gone off.
Yeah, but he's still over... Okay. This was mean. Brian did take a fucking retarded take. You want people to follow the rules. I mean, Max Verstappen 100% at fault, I hear. Then I hear... But you should be able to not follow the rules. Because reasons. Okay. Interesting take.
And there seems to be this new thing of like, you can't go off the track. Like, no,
you can't go off the... Is there rules you can't go with the track? If yes, the fuck are you talking about then? If it is against the rules, what the fuck do you complain then? And there's someone that in the commentary that I listen to when watching Formula 1 that also complains like this, fucking retarded. If you're driving the gravel, should being over the line be counted? Why the fuck shouldn't it? Do you want fucking the rules to not be followed, or do you want it? I mean, Abu Dhabi 2021. Some people complain the ruling wasn't followed. So now is the problem to not follow the rules? But you don't want to sometimes the rules not to be followed. So only when you care, it should be followed. Well, there's some interesting takes.
The track and like how is Lando going off the track when he got pushed wide by Verstappen a track limit penalty? That's not a track limit violation.
Was he over the line or not?
Limit violation is Lando going wide into a corner, taking 10 miles.
And that he didn't do that. Sounds like that's 100% what he did then.
An hour through, you know, one corner to get a great slingshot run, and that's...
Yeah, sounds like what maybe happened. Glitter pink. Nice.
When you're gaining a track limit. I don't like this. I don't like this rule of like it being as soon as you're off the track, like naughty boy.
You get a warning. Like they're very black and white with this. Although it did say it was noted.
I would say this: why the fuck do they even have that you can be warned? Why not get the penalty directly? So you mean he can do this? He can do all this bullshit before to get close to Max Verstappen. That's fair. But then it's unfair when he finally got the penalty for being over the line for some other reason.
And then under investigation, then he gets a penalty. Surely the investigation part is he's not just on his own, lapping, runs wide, gains some time. That's the warning. That's what that is for. We don't want to be handing out track limit violations when you could argue that Verstappen was pushing Norris wide. Therefore, it's Max's fault that Lando's gone wide.
Yeah, because that probably was his
Lando's
strategy.
getting the...
So you should be able to overtake outside the track? Is that what you want?
Warning.
Knowing
like,
Max, it probably was his strategy.
Yeah, you just shove him wide 3 or 4 times. And, cheers, mate. There's your 5-second penalty. I've won the race. Just bizarre to me that they gave him that penalty. So I don't agree with that at all. I think that Formula 1 is and should be black and white in many, many rulings. But that...
Is it that black and white? You are over the white line, then you get a penalty. Isn't that black and white?
Should be for
It's a white line.
gaining time. Now, I'm
black ruling.
I still think that it should be black and white in the sense of, you're saying, Piastri went off the track, but he didn't gain any time. That's where you open up a can of worms once again of, well...
Yeah. You want black and white, and then you want it not to be black and white. So fucking stupid.
How far do we go with this? Where do they gain time? Where do they not? So I still think that should be black and white, but the steward should have a brain and go, well, these two are battling. We're going to investigate this.
So you can go over the line if you're battling someone.
Lando.
Isn't it a lot of talk that you don't want people to overtake people outside the track? Why do people need to give the place back when that happens if you don't care about it?
Lando did not gain time, therefore not a track limit warning. How is it nothing other than that? I don't get it.
Yeah, one thing I would say is, maybe controversially, because we all love to have a go at the stewards, is I don't think they did a particularly bad job this weekend. I wouldn't watch that race and go, oh, they were so slow. We've had moments in Formula One where incidents happen on the lap 1 and they go, we're going to investigate that after the race. They seemed quite quick with it, and they're never going to be able to do it in 3 seconds.
But not with Lando Norris.
Because they do need to judge it. Now, so for example, like Norris, when he was investigated, it is going to take a bit of time. However, that still would have been very interesting had they not collided to see how that would have played out. Because even with the 5-second penalty, does Max... I think we all know the answer to this. Does Max let Lando go?
You say let him through? No.
Not let him go. Not let him go, but be less aggressive.
No.
And think, yeah, well, yeah. But it's a debate. It's a debate.
There's no debate. That is a categorical no.
The interesting thing that would be interesting to talk about, if the collision never happened, will the 5 seconds still come out when it did, or will it take even longer?
We've been talking about him and his character for the last 20 minutes.
But yeah, Max knows he's got a penalty. How different is his driving? But
not at all.
Yeah, not at all.
That's my opinion. It's literally Max Verstappen. Okay, next question. P1 Patreon member CC Hollister. Friendship over? I think it's going to be an interesting one how they iron this out. It's funny to see the different personalities play out. Lando not funny, but like it's interesting. Yeah. Lando in his post-race interview, could tell, really disappointed, probably upset, speaking quite openly about how the respect has sort of gone from this, of course, in some ways, and that the way that they would rebuild that is if Max admitted fault and said, look, yep, I could have driven better. You then go to Max's interview and he's like, I didn't do anything wrong. It's all well and good ex-F1 drivers analysing from outside the car. I know what I'm doing inside the car. And then he kind of played it off quite casually of, yeah, we'll have a chat with Lando and that sort of stuff. So I think that just shows the two kind of personalities where Max doesn't see it as a big thing at all. Lando's like, I've just lost my second race win and would need that sort of admittance from Max that he did do something wrong. So I do wonder if...
Okay, sure. Or you could just overtake him more cleanly.
Once Max looks at the off-boards and analyses those last sort of 15 laps, whether he will...
Or maybe you will realise the real life, if you also do that.
Be like, fair enough, yeah, I did go over the line a little bit in private.
No chance. Again, this is another thing. I don't think it's in Max's character to ever admit that he'd done something wrong.
I mean, I did something wrong. Did I get a penalty for it?
I don't think he will ever flat out go, yeah, Lando, I'm sorry. It's part of his persona. It's part of the Senna thing again of like, don't mess with me. I am the boss. You will get taken out the race if you dare overtake me. Like, it's all part of his ruthless character, like a Michael Schumacher, that makes other drivers scared of him and shows weakness. Whether I think that is the right way to be, no, but you can't really argue with the results and how Max Verstappen's career is going. So I don't think it's friendship over. I don't think that's literally like the Hamilton-Rosberg moment. But what if?
No. You don't think so? Why not? It could be the biggest fight ever now.
It has shown is that exactly what we said. As soon as these two start racing and they have a level playing field, it's not all going to be, oh, should we go on Twitch together and have a race? Like, no, like that
would be
ends
something.
when you start having a world championship battle with someone.
And then they crash in the game. That would be somewhat depressing. They're both fighting to get the lead and then win the race, and then they both crash out again.
And they can be civil to each other and maybe even still, you know, they'll still get on to a point, I think, but it's not gonna, I don't know how they're gonna be as pally if this is the new trend of like how good McLaren are, and this the most exciting thing is this probably won't be the last time, because McLaren are damn quick.
They certainly are, although we thought, I mean, coming into this race, we didn't think it was going to be... I think Red Bull generally showed in this race that they are the quickest, but they were...
But something happened in the last part of the race. When from being... It looked like clearly the winner to almost losing the win.
Tripping over themselves a little bit with the slow pit stop, and
yeah, that
working very well in that.
Man, wonder how much that actually ruined for him. The slow pit stop in the end. I mean, it made so Lando Norris was closer. And I think, I don't know how much that ruined, but Max didn't take a corner really good. He locked up somewhat. Maybe that ruined his tires at that moment. So a lot of small stuff happened that could maybe lead to why Lando Norris was so fast now. But it could just be that whatever Max did, all the team did, Lando Norris will always been faster in the end. And will always have catch up with Max Verstappen.
Last stint where Max was thinking that there was something wrong with the car, but I think overall, I know that obviously Lando was all over the back of Max, but I think that was just that stint, and Red Bull sort of opened up the vulnerabilities there with the slow pit stop and stuff. But
McLaren
is
so
close.
good on that medium tyre as well. Like they always seem to be.
They weren't good on the first stint of mediums, though, were they? With the heavy fuel.
Yeah, but when it got to
Well, I don't know how Lando Norris was looking, but Oscar Piastri, he was in the gravel. Like, he was contact with Charles Leclerc first, then pushed out somewhat with by Perez in the gravel. Lost some time, but then got back and overtook Sergio Perez. So I believe Lando Norris would probably been equally good, but Max Verstappen was better, so it didn't look like Lando Norris could do anything.
True, but like the qualifyings and stuff.
But
so.
yeah, these people clearly saw everything that happened, what Max did, but not what Lando Norris did in the beginning.
Light fuel on the mediums, McLaren comes into its own, and
yeah.
One thing about the pit stop. Didn't actually include it, but you mentioned about the pit stop and how would Max have just won easily without the pit stop if he'd had a normal pit stop. I don't think that was the case, because Lando is absolutely rapid. Like, he caught him up, and
yeah, so everything that happened that time probably didn't do anything in the I mean, it made Lando Norris catching up faster. But I feel like Lando Norris would always have catch up.
was was fighting him lap after lap after lap. It wasn't like one of those things where you've got one chance, you've got DRS, and as soon as you lose DRS, it's game over. He could have basically gone for moves for the rest of the race against Verstappen.
Yeah, and maybe he should have. Instead of doing, I would say, questionable passing or take the corner, but you don't take the corner. Could you just wait it out, Max Verstappen? Waited for a big mistake or some mistake and then try to get past him. Because then it will probably 100% be over for Max Verstappen.
And he would have been catching him, no doubt, in my opinion. I actually think Max's outbraking, the way he had the lockup going through is it turn 4? Which, my word, I thought he was in the gravel then. I thought that was...
Yes, Lando Norris could maybe have waited for one more lockup for Max Verstappen. Put on pressure on him that maybe doesn't actually lead to anything. But it looked like something will happen to make him doing a mistake.
Game over for Max was more of a thing that helped Lando catch up than the pit stop, if anything.
Well, the pit stop was slow. It was 6.5 seconds.
It was slow,
and
but
I'm pretty sure it was even slower than the 6.5 seconds suggests, because it was like 2 seconds or whatever it was when they came out the pits. Max, 2.5, 3 seconds. Then Max obviously made that lockup, which put it down to, I think, 1.8, and then Lando just caught him very, very quickly after that and was very quickly in DRS. It's interesting, yeah. I think Lando would have caught him.
But
I don't
maybe
think
like
it would have
3
been
or
as
4 laps to
quickly.
go.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been as quickly as perhaps the battle suggests. Lando was quicker, don't get me wrong.
Could have been an inverse situation, maybe.
I also think that with Austria, once you're in the DRS and you've got some decent pace, you can sort of sit there and...
Yes, man, that would be so much more amazing. Lando Norris just wait out Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen finally make a mistake. And he just overtakes him and then starting to... Yeah, it's cool. Just going further away. Instead of pushing so much that you get this penalty. They can question like, should you have maybe 5-second penalty? Should you really fight like you have no penalty? Or should you fight even more so you can get ahead and maybe win with 5 seconds between them? But no, the collision happened and we never got to see. Could Lando Norris have an amazing win?
And, it's a short lap. As long as you don't lose a second, you get DRS again, down the main straight into turn 1, and then all the way up the hill as well. And then,
yeah, it's DRS like everywhere, isn't there? The funniest thing you say about that, though, is the fact that like we saw a prime example of that Verstappen literally couldn't shake the Haas's off behind him because they could just sit in his DRS, and the Haas's were like, could just stay behind Max and follow him, and he at one point.
Yeah, man. Fuck happened with Haas? Man, why are they so fucking good? Let Alpine, Visa Cash Up RB from one team, and Williams get points. The fuck do Haas gets so much points? 12 points in one race. Man, so disgusting.
Point came on the radio, didn't he, and was like, I can't.
And Perez didn't, for some reason, he couldn't pass Hülkenberg. What are you doing, Perez?
Can't shake off these cars.
I know, it's wild, wasn't it? How some of the slower cars at pit were just as quick as the leaders.
Yeah.
But yes, it is 3 DRS zones. Sorry, I'm a little bit hungover. It's my birthday yesterday.
I was going to say, but a Red Bull fighting a Haas is a different drive, which we'll speak about now.
Ooh.
Okay. Wonder what do you think about Charles Leclerc?
Let's get into a
Unless there's anything else.
Charles Leclerc?
I think we've covered everything on that. It almost feels like you could talk for like 2 hours about it, but
you certainly
still not over it. I don't think I'll ever be over it.
No, and I'm sure we'll have many other things that will come into our brain as we go through this podcast.
Charles
But people on Patreon
Leclerc.
member Snowborn asks, how can Max drive a lap on 3 wheels, get a 10-second penalty, and still finish ahead of Perez? By 17
Good
seconds,
question.
I think it was.
Yep.
As well.
Because Perez is arguably in the worst form of his entire career right now.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. It's sad to watch. You know, he's fighting the Hasses. He's fighting the Hasses.
Yeah, that
and
was so
losing.
fucking weird.
He lost the last lap battle with Hulkenberg for P6, I think it was. It's at a stage now where we talk about it every single time. Perez is thick, blah 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 blah. But it can't go under the radar. He's in the championship constructors winning car, and would have finished like over a minute probably behind Max had he not. It would have been on the verge of probably getting lapped had that whole battle with Lando not happened. It's bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre. But it is a carbon copy of last year. Maybe Perez is only good at like 3 tracks. It's all at the start of the year.
You say that. I saw a very interesting graphic or like tweet where someone showed like the gap of where Perez was in relation to Max, and the first few races he is still 20-30 seconds off, but the problem was Max was 30 seconds in the lead, so Perez could be second, rather than now the Red Bull is very much in the clutches of McLaren.
True.
That 20-30 seconds now equates to him being behind both Ferraris, both McLaren,
Yeah, behind everyone.
both Mercedes, and he's there battling 8th. But I think it's inexcusable that he's racing a Haas. You know, forget him finishing the worst of Formula A. The fact he's racing a Haas, it's shocking.
It really is.
And actually, he got repassed by Hulkenberg.
Yeah, on the last lap,
Which
he
is
lost
really,
the battle.
really
He
embarrassing.
overtook him into turn 3, and then Hulk got him back. And yeah, it's just I don't get it.
Yeah, yeah, but the fuck do you say about that? But something I want to know. What do they think about Charles Leclerc?
I really don't get it, and I do wonder what Red Bull are going to do, because it's a carbon copy situation out of Albon and Gasly, if not worse. It's just the problem was Red Bull weren't a championship winning car when those 2 drivers that paired Max were there. So therefore, Max qualifying 2nd or 3rd or doing great in the car would mean they would then qualify.
Come on, I want to hear
13th,
Charles
14th
Leclerc.
or whatever it might be, because they still lacked that deficit to Max. But their blemishes weren't sort of saved because it looked worse, or their blushes weren't saved. Either or,
Yeah.
a phrase. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. There's
nothing else to say about it, is it? We'll have
So
this
time for Charles
conversation
Leclerc.
every single race
another
until
16
something.
times before the end of the year.
Yeah, and then what do they do? They've already committed to another year. Feels like
I believe they will keep him. Make Max Verstappen happy. And that will probably be it. They get the championship and maybe lose the constructorship. And do they care? Probably not.
he will be locked in no matter what. But that Red Bull is
There you
falling
go.
back into the pack, and if for whatever reason, you know, said McLaren could have won the last 5 or 6 races now. A lot of races to go. Piastri's really looking very quick
Oh,
as
that
well.
would have been so amazing. See Oscar Piastri win this race than fucking George Russell. But nope, the crash, collision happened, and now George Russell can get a free win. So boring. When Oscar Piastri could have
Obviously,
so
Lando
easily
is
got
doing
it.
Lando things and being very quick. So I know we had the constructors champion.
Mama, this minute.
No! Go away, ad. Fucking 20 seconds ad. Let's see, who more could have... Charles Leclerc, if he was still up there, maybe he could have won a race. Or win the race. Or Carlos Sainz, if he somewhat could be better in the Formula 1. Maybe he could have won that race. Luckily, Lewis Hamilton didn't win a race. And George Russell can have one more race win on the list. While Lewis Hamilton have no win. Oh shit, we need a sound.
I know we had the Constructors' Championship chat with Ferrari, but McLaren, I think it is very, very doable.
We will see. Definitely not Ferrari, maybe. We'll get onto them shortly.
Yeah.
Before we dive into anything else, I just wanted to mention that we are going to be live at Silverstone on Sunday at 11 AM. We're going to be on the main stage for 40 minutes rather than 25 minutes of last year, which is absolutely ridiculous. We'd love to see as many of you as possible. So Sunday, 11 AM on the main stage, me and Tommy, chatting some Formula One. And what a way to have teed up potentially some chats that we've got to have on stage.
You can talk about Charles Leclerc.
Because it is literally the next race at the British Grand Prix next weekend. Very exciting. If, of course, you see either of
Oh,
myself...
that happened. Charles Leclerc was fighting the Williams. So he is preparing for the Silverstone race, when he will be fighting the Williams again.
Or Tommy, at the British Grand Prix of Silverstone, please come and say hello. We'd love to speak to you because we do love meeting the people that listen to our waffle. So let's move on now to...
Charles Leclerc.
Martin Amakwa asks, is Ciao from Gasly the coldest radio message ever? So we didn't actually hear the audio. It was just a written transcript, wasn't it, of just Ciao that came up. Not
True.
the coldest. That was Sainz in Singapore.
Oh, yeah,
100%. But this was close. This made me laugh so much. You know, we're watching it on Twitch. We're Ocon and Gasly. They were carrying the Austrian Grand Prix at that point. We thought that was going to be the battle that we would speak about for about 20 minutes. But alas, it wasn't. But it was great to watch those two. It's the pure hatred that you can just see between the two of them. It's just...
I believe Esteban Ogone is the true the one that are hating. Gasly just responding on the hate.
They're just battling left, right and centre. They don't care about the team. They are just there to beat each other. And it's great to watch. You got Gasly coming over the radio when he's pushed off the track. What's he doing? What the FC? Blah, blah, blah. But they do like each other, according to Alpine, and they do get on.
And what is
Like
funny as well is that
like
at one point you had Fernando Alonso in
Sainz.
there as well, another driver that's had some beef with Ocon. So you had Ocon literally probably not knowing who he hates more, Gasly or Alonso, and like who do I defend here?
Yeah, true. Do I take my former teammate or my new teammate? Hard to decide. Can I maybe attack both?
Because he made a very questionable move on Fernando Alonso, which Alonso
I would actually say with
was,
that one.
wow.
I would actually say on that, I don't think it probably changed the outcome. But do you feel as though, obviously, Ocon's late move on Alonso going up towards turn 3 had any bearing on the stewards not making any
That's what I
decisions
said.
with
That's what I
Max?
said earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Like they set the precedent of Max would have been very. They could have given Max a penalty for his late move. I think it was very borderline. He might have just got away with it because it didn't look as aggressive as Ocon. But as soon as they decided that the Esteban Ocon move was okay, they can't do anything. Like and Red Bull would argue that all day. Like they have basically. I know Max wouldn't have known unless it's Max being Max.
Might be watching
watched
the
it on the
TV.
telly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he might have watched that.
Max could have done that and been absolutely fine because they've already said no, you can do a ridiculously late move, almost get someone off the track, and that's what Ocon did to Alonso. And then yeah, it's great to see Gasly and Ocon having the little battle. They had a bit of a wheel bang moment. Funny enough, you know, they had the odd moment where they pushed each other wide. Their incident actually, where they had the little wheel bang, so could have easily been what happened with Lando and Max, like we said.
Yeah, and man, sadly it didn't, and the fight just ended, and the race, ended bad
the,
in
you
a
know, the
bad
start
way.
of the show that could have so easily just been a little wheel tap, carry on for round 7.
What
whatever
the
it
F was that? Get
Yeah,
the old-
exactly.
Roll the team radio out, because they were both proper like Lando going blah 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 blah, Max on the radio going blah 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 blah. And you could just tell they were just constantly like, oh, I'm going to get a penalty for that maybe. So let me just say something on the radio to make sure that they're aware of my thoughts on the situation. But yes,
True.
back to Ocon and Gasly. Yeah, it's great to watch those
Come on,
two.
Charles
Anytime you
Leclerc
see
now.
those two on track together, because they are so closely matched, you just know it's going to be absolute cinema.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
time for Charles
Yeah,
Leclerc.
Drive Survive were probably like, oh, yes, hello. Gasly and Ocon. Oh, hello. Throw that script in the bin. We've got Lando
Yeah, I
and
think
Max
we've got an episode
now.
here. Oh yeah, put that one
Yeah.
in the incinerator.
They probably wrote a whole episode and then went, delete.
That will
Lando
have a
and
5-second montage, and that's it.
Yes.
So yes, fantastic content probably coming
Come on,
our way
Ferrari,
next
Charles Leclerc.
season when that launches. Next question, Luke Loophole. Without the quali penalty for Piastri, do you think he would have taken the win? Yes.
Yes, 100%.
Categorically, I think he would have
Ooh.
been in the mix. He would have been right.
I mean, he could maybe been in the mix if he wasn't. He didn't do the contact with Charles Leclerc and then pushed out Bob Perez. So man, the penalty. Why, Oscar Piastri? It could have been your first win.
right up there, and that's I think why he was so down at finishing 2nd place after inheriting a podium that he was never going to get. It's a tough pill to swallow, because Piastri lost those places because of going off the track by 1 millimeter, and however you feel about that, that's unfortunately what he was given.
Yeah. Do you want the ruling to be like that or not?
And then you even look at the race, you think, small moments, maybe when Piastri tried to go around the outside of Perez. Had that not happened and he lost a few seconds, and that would have been the amount of time that he was behind George Russell that he lost. So you do think about these small moments that I'm sure Oscar was looking back in his head going, if that just went slightly better or whatever. So it will happen for Oscar, but it just wasn't really the weekend that he, well, I say that, he finished 2nd, but it's not the weekend it could have been for him.
Yeah, it must be very tough. Like, it clearly dawned on him, didn't it? After when he was in the cool-down room, you could see it on his face that he was just going, that 1 millimeter.
Just
cost
when a
me.
slower car beats you, you just go, well, I could have won the race. That's probably what he's thinking of, like.
And
I'm
all
quicker than the
drivers,
Mercedes.
yeah. Well, I can't remember what the race was, where Carlos Sainz was like, "Oh, we would have won if this would have happened," and we were kind of joking that every driver went as soon as Max has like a day off. I can't remember which race that was.
Was that Lando?
Was it Miami? I think it was
I think
Miami
it was Lando.
actually.
It
yeah,
was,
yeah.
it was.
Where every single driver goes, that should have been me.
Yeah, we were like, all right, Carlos. I'm not sure
Yeah,
about that one.
exactly. But this is a genuine one. Like Piastri had great pace. Saw that in the sprint as well. Was a lot better on his tyres, as we said. Wasn't falling off at the end. We almost, when he got, this is something that won't ever be mentioned now because of the incident with Max and Lando. But we almost, I thought we were having a battle for the win when he made that move on Sainz. He was on the mediums, Russell on the hards.
For the win,
got down to
meaning
2
to
for
get through,
for
yeah.
the win.
Yeah, it could have
To
happened.
fight Russell, who we should probably say well done George Russell, because there were no
Well done,
questions
George.
about him.
You won the race.
Because he just inherited a win, but you have to
you have to be there.
You have to be
have
there,
to be
yeah.
there,
This could be another 40-minute podcast if I go into what I think about George Russell and how he's one of the most confusing drivers in terms of like how he's perceived and judged his ability, because anyone else that 9-1 in qualifying, whatever it is with Hamilton or whatever, who's statistically the GOAT, would be getting absolutely lauded, but people think he's a bit of a bottle job, don't they?
Well, it's when most of those people are probably in the Team LH camp, so it's a hard thing to combat against, because there's a very large fan base for Lewis, so of course they're going to jump to his defence. But yeah, George Russell, just there. He was saying he was kind of watching on the TV screens, just wondering, those two could definitely come together and something might open up, and that's exactly what happened. So
He's got the win
it
again.
hasn't happened
It's
that
him
much.
again.
yeah, it's him again, and also it doesn't happen that much because we've had a car dominating. And
come on, I want to hear Charles
we've not
Leclerc.
had an instant like this since 2021. But George Russell was driving a great race, and his teammate Hamilton picked up some floor damage apparently at turn 1. I didn't actually see that, but that's what was communicated. But still, George kept his nose clean and beat a McLaren that was definitely quicker on the day, and you can't really take anything away from him. He's now won another race.
No, like he's obviously fortunate with the way it's gone with Lando and Max, but like you say, you have to be there. And at the end of the day, he's beaten Piastri, Sainz, Hamilton on the road, who are in very similar, if not identical, cars to him in terms of pace. So, well done, George.
Well done, George, indeed. And also a big well done to Charles Leclerc doing a last to 11th place challenge. I think he was robbed, actually, of not getting driver of the day.
That's
Landooooo
great.
did, in fact, get driver of the day.
That's
Ferrari's
great.
forecast for Charles to get a point. I don't really want to talk about it, to be honest with you, because that was a disaster from quite literally turn 1, where he got pincered by two cars. Was it Perez and I think it was Piastri? And then losing his front wing, and then he's just absolutely effed, like completely and utterly finished at that point. Had to pit for another set of hards, goes on the hards, realises, oh my god, these are horrendous, then has to pit on like lap 16 or whatever it was. He got overtaken by Alex Albon, which was quite possibly one of the worst things I've ever watched.
I know. There's a meme. There's a meme somewhere of us doing the P1 extra video of championship back on, can Leclerc win the championship, and then a few moments later, an Alex Albon diving down the inside of him for P19.
Or the screenshot of him being 69 seconds behind Max Verstappen after about...
Yeah, that was so fucking beautiful. Why did they put that on? Charles Leclerc go into the pit and then he's this far away from getting past Max Verstappen.
How many laps it was. So, yeah, good. Don't really want to touch on it anymore. I just don't think that he can get any unluckier as a driver. And
True,
we'll move on
but
to the next one.
Well, yeah, if it makes you feel any better, it will literally never be remembered and no one else will be talking about it because of the absolute chaos bomb that race was.
I do like it when you start... When we're talking about Leclerc and something going wrong for him, and then you go, if it makes you feel any better, I know for a fact whatever you say after that is not going to make me feel any better, and you're on a 100% streak of that still. So congratulations, Tommy. Right, we move on to biggest winner. And I think it might be George Russell. I think George Russell might have been the biggest winner here from everything that went on. So that's what I'm going to go with.
Or Haas. Haas are a good shout. 6
Come on,
and 8,
wore the
brilliant
Haas
performance.
top. They didn't collide with each other in Monaco, like that was the last time I wore it. And then the time after that was when...
Great result for Haas. Great result for Nico Hülkenberg.
So disgusting.
Beating Perez.
Beating Perez again, showing that he is a driver that deserves a better Formula 1 car, and I do hope that Audi can deliver that for him, and when we see him
probably do that.
Like that he can just do something with a good car, because he really is a good driver.
He really is, and I think shout out to Magnussen as well. There was 6 seconds between the two of them. They both performed very, very well. Daniel Ricciardo scored 2 points, which needs to also be commended. Obviously, he gained that through the incident that happened. Actually, no,
I completely forgot about. There's so much drama in this race. Kevin Magnussen saying "F that" when they told him to basically not race Hülkenberg. we were treated some absolute drama today. Like,
sorry, Daniel Ricciardo scoring 2 points as well has gone completely under the
it has.
in an RB tractor. Alpine, of course, scoring another point with Gasly. And Tsunoda was down in 14th with a lap down, but I have no idea what happened to Tsunoda. I don't have a clue.
Did he not get a penalty? Am I making that up? I feel like did he get a penalty for something? I'm sure he went off at one point and got a penalty.
There was quite a lot of penalties.
There's a lot of penalties, and I don't think anyone will kind of begrudge us that. All my brain is thinking right now is, oh my god, Lando Norris and Verstappen have crashed into each other. Quite literally.
Yeah. And also Fernando Alonso finished 18th. Just want to throw that one in there as well.
Yeah, you can have that one.
But fastest lap, so we'll get onto that shortly. Biggest loser.
Red Bull.
Lando Norris, it has to be. Lando's lost not only the race win, but lost more points to Max Verstappen in the title. So for me, it has to be Lando.
Yeah, Lando Norris again coming out of a race weekend. I don't think it's his fault. Like I don't think it's his fault like the last one where we were kind of saying, you know, this is one that he should have won definitely, but through two very different moments actually, he could quite easily have won the sprint and the race and got maximum points. But he has come away with almost nothing.
It's mad, isn't it? Because when they had the incident, I thought Max was more screwed than Lando originally, because Max was the one.
I just thought it was Lando's front wing or something.
And Lando, maybe a front wing or whatever.
Yeah, it looked like Norris could just keep on. But then he didn't. It was like, wait, Max Verstappen is still ahead. What's happening?
And I wonder if there'll be a bit of analysis of whether Lando drove a bit too quickly and just absolutely destroyed his car, because you saw those slow-mo of that right
Max,
rear,
didn't he? Yeah.
and it was like, you know, fully disintegrating. And I do wonder if Lando, just through the heat of the moment and pushing a bit too hard, wanting to get back, cost himself some points there as well. That's just an observation. But
yeah, it could have been.
At the end of the day, he had a puncture just similar to Max. So yeah, perhaps rushed back to the pits a bit too soon. But then he did. He rushed because he was ahead of Max, and then he rushed too quickly, I think, and then Max came back past because I think his car was an absolute bit. Because Lando came crawling in at the end. So either or, I'm sure that's the last of his worries. Right, let's now look back at our predictions that we made.
Yeah, it would probably be really
the championship is currently 29-28.
We are massing this good.
We really are.
No Lando Norris or Max Verstappen in a top 3.
Nya Rexona Advanced Protection aktiveras av kroppsvärme. Så oavsett hur varm du blir, skyddar Rexona effektivt mot lukt och svett. Rexona Advanced Protection skyddar dig i 72 timmar.
Biggest good surprise, I went for Fernando Alonso. Fastest lap. Thoughts?
You're going to say that.
Fastest lap. Fastest lap, half a point. Sorry, is that not
where did
biggest?
He finish?
18th. So he beat Logan Sargent and Lando Norris, beat a McLaren, got a fastest lap.
Beat a McLaren. Lando was leading for most of the race, and Alonso finished ahead.
No, it's going to be 0 points. I tried.
That's 1
I
point.
went for Oscar Piastri,
100%.
And came good at the end. Don't you even question it? That is literally the greatest points haul of his entire career. You cannot say that's... Yeah, he finished second and got a sprint P2 as well. Like, literally, it was... For whatever reason, that was the best result of his entire career.
Maybe not his best drive, but...
no, it wasn't.
Okay, cool. Biggest flop, I went for Sergio Perez, and yes...
And boy, did he deliver. Actually, it's one of those things where you could... I was ready to be tough on that. And be like, it has to be, it has to be really terrible. And boy, did Perez really make sure you got that one.
Yeah, you're like,
he didn't. It wasn't even, you know, as people on Twitch were kind of saying, oh well, he's always like having a bad race now. So if he'd have finished behind everyone, but I literally don't know what is more embarrassing, him finishing behind the Haas or finishing behind Verstappen after what happened to Verstappen. That they're both pretty...
The Haas. I've got a question as well. He's finished 54 seconds behind George Russell, let alone what was going on with Lando and Max.
I know he got a 5-second penalty, but my God.
I mean, okay, well, 49, but he still got a 5-second penalty. You know,
and well, I know we're doing predictions. This could be an 8-hour podcast, but this does open the debate of like, Red Bull need Perez to be winning that race when Max is off the road, like.
Oh yeah.
And he's absolutely nowhere. You know, that's another race that Max has lost, and Perez isn't even. You know.
Maybe Red Bull need to focus more to find out why is Sergio Perez so bad. Or maybe they're already trying and they can't find any
Perez will win this
solution.
now because the Red Bull is supposedly the best car by an absolute mile, and oh no, he's fighting a Haas. Oh, he's been passed by a Haas. Like,
yeah, not good.
yeah, it's really bad. Perez.
Point for me, and wow, Tommy.
I've never been more. Yeah,
Happy about
I
your
can't
own
believe that.
driver
Happy
being
that my
involved.
driver. Well, it's funny
Wanna say
because
what
I
it
said
is? 'Cause
this.
you haven't
Sorry,
said
Red
it.
Bull. I went for Red Bull, which looked absolutely no, and that's a 2-pointer, 100%.
Ah.
People said it in the
Two.
Yeah, it's a 2-pointer. There was the top comment on the predictions was that you've gone for Red Bull. It definitely has to be a 2-pointer. There's no way.
Fine, whatever, don't care. That's fine. You know, I thought we were massing this, but go on, you take the
we
lead
are,
then.
actually.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's fine. All right. Yeah, fair enough. Well done. Maybe that's what teams should. Maybe that's what teams should be. Actually, is 2
Yeah,
points.
team
You
should be
get-
2 points. I think it has to be.
Okay, well done. Congratulations. Hope you're happy with the
Two
money.
more fishes for
Sprint
the
poll. I
collection.
went for Lando Norris. No.
I
What was
also
that?
did. It was a meep. No.
And you went for Lando as well, which was wrong. Sprint winner. I said no, and then you. I said no. I said Norris.
I said no. Yeah.
And you
I
said
said
Norris,
no. I
which
said
was
Norris.
no.
My brain is like.
I'm so hot, so hungover, it's crazy. Pole position. I went for Max Verstappen. Yeah, give me that point. Come
Oh,
on.
well done.
One
for
more fish
Lando.
for the
No.
collection.
Wrong. Our top three. Third place, I went for Oscar Piastri. God damn it.
I also went for Oscar Piastri.
That is
Oh,
no.
it could have
Second,
been
I
a
went for
third.
Lando Norris.
Oh, which was looking
And
on.
that was
at one
going
point.
to happen. You went for.
I went for Charles Leclerc, which technically was closer than your prediction. Half a point.
Am I supposed
One
to
more
be
fish.
non-offended by this? Am I supposed to be
Yeah, I
happy
know,
that
it's like,
Leclerc was... So I
do I
was
meant to be
about to be
annoyed or
offended, and
celebrate?
I was like, yeah, I don't know. Okay, no points. And then Max Verstappen, I went for the win, which also was on. And then, alas.
And I went for Verstappen, which for some reason I wrote in the sheet that it was Norris, but it definitely was Max because I.
I was going to
changed
say,
my mind at the end.
yeah, that was the one. And that's wrong as
Doesn't
well.
matter anyway because it's both wrong.
Okay, our one crazy prediction. I said 7 different teams in Q3, and there were 6. So, god damn it.
And I said no rain, no inters, no wet tyres, and yeah.
Well
I can't
done.
believe that happened. Well, I can because that's just predictable with Formula One. But we didn't need it, did we? Because we'd have all taken that.
My brain would have exploded had it been raining as well. Like, I don't think I would have been able to
Yeah,
process
no.
what was going on. And then finally, 3 crazy predictions from you, wonderful lot. First and foremost, P1 Patreon member Nicola, Max isn't on the podium. That is correct. P1 Patreon
Man.
member Dennis, Carlos and Charles
Succeed
crash
with
with
that.
each other. Nope. And P1 Patreon member Maddie, double podium for McLaren. No. Although technically a sprint and a... I mean, Oscar was on twice, wasn't he? Technically, sprint podium, but half a point.
Half a point if you want.
I mean, we don't even count the fans, do we? So, I mean, we do count you, we love you, but we don't have you in the tally because that wouldn't be fair. Right, that is it. We're done. I need to lie down. The England game's on right now, actually, isn't it, Tommy?
It is.
So I'm sure we're going to be 4-0 down when I tune in. And what are your final thoughts?
Yeah, actually, good point that
The race gonna
the
end
England
is so
game
much
is a
better.
good thing to kind of get me
Calm
back
us
down
down.
to
Yeah, it's really bored.
a little nap because I'm too excited.
Why?
Yeah, what like that was, and a lot of people, you know, because I'm not a real Max fan, and obviously he's retired from the race, but that is one of those
Sorry, so
races.
when did Max retire?
Sorry, not retired. Lost the win. That you just watch it and go, imagine not liking Formula One. Like the moments like that, it is just
beautiful.
incredible what this sport can do. And yeah, what a season! Like this season continues to just surprise every single race it seems, and I'm loving it.
I can't believe it. I can't believe we've just had that race. I was so
We were so ready
convinced.
to be like,
Man, it could have ended so much better.
It was going to be a
after quali as
stinker.
well. When
Yeah.
Max was so clear, it was like we had the question championship back off, and I know Max has somehow extended his lead after all that, but just the races are just banging now. Love it.
They really are. Let me check what the
42.
championship standings is, just to see if it is still championship back off. I think it will be, very much so. 237 plays 156. Oh God, that
yeah.
is
Tough for Lando.
what, 85 points now? Yep, cool. All right, maybe that's my maths wrong, but either or. that is it. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you very soon. British Grand Prix coming your way. Lots of content as always. We're of course going to be there.
18.
So that'll be very exciting. We look
20,
forward to seeing some of you if you
22,
are there as well. And
30,
yeah,
36,
time for a lie down. Let us know
40,
your thoughts
42.
on who was at fault and why it was Max Verstappen. And it's funny, actually. I know we're waving. I did a poll on my Twitter, and I think 17% of people thought, 17.5%. And this has 146,000 votes. 17.5% think Norris was at fault for that.
No.
It is.
Like, that's just ridiculous, isn't it? I can sit here as a Max fanboy saying sometimes you just need to be non-biased and like...
Because I did that poll and I posted it and I was like, I mean, is it really a discussion? Thinking it'd be like a 97% Max. But 17.5% is crazy. Like, that's a solid amount of people. That
is a lot of people.
Math. That's maybe 20,000 people out of that poll think that Norris was at fault.
That's 20,000 Dutch people think.
Yeah, fair enough. They've all just voted from the grandstands. Right, we're blabbing along. See you soon. Lots of love.
You're
Bye.
being retarded,
Bye.
yes. Yeah, fucking go away. Fucking so disgusting. Could have been so much better race, and it wasn't. So let's see. We should have some 100% one colored fishes. There we have the pink glitter. We should have the grey one. There we have the grey. Okay, let's see. Dasher grey. Apparently we already have a Dasher grey. Do we have a glitter pink? There we have also a glitter pink. Okay, -2. Already starting Dasher grey. Dasher grey. Glitter pink. Glitter white. Glitter brown. Glitter light grey. Glitter green. Then we had glitter magenta. Glitter black. Glitter light blue. Okay, -2. -43. -2. And now we can bring up Peter Reser and let's see what he thinks about the race. And what his takes about the Lando Norris and Max Verstappen fight.
First, who was to blame, Max or Lando? I'm probably the wrong person to ask because I've been going on and on and on how there's a disconnect between the sporting regulations, which basically say you always have to give the guy on the outside room, and what we all know to be the true essence of motor racing and owning a corner. And it's the guy on the inside who owns a corner. We all know that. And yet somebody has written this rule in the sporting regulations to say that if you're on the outside, it behoves the driver on the inside to give you lots of room and not to run you wide. And if he does, he's the one that gets a penalty. That's basically it. And that's driven me up the wall. It's probably driven a lot of people up the wall. Carlos Sainz too, I think, over the years. But in reality, that wasn't what this Austrian Grand Prix shunt was all about, the one that gave the victory to George Russell and Mercedes. And congratulations to George and Merck straight off the bat. But just getting back to the shunt, because that was the defining moment, quite obviously. The build-up to it we'll get on to in a minute down the road in this video. Suffice to say that Max was now on a scrub set of medium tyres. Lando was on a new set. And there's a big difference.
Oh, so that's a big difference. New tyres against old tyres.
In performance between the two at that stage of the race on relatively light fuel. And Max had also lost about 4 seconds in a very delayed, nasty pit stop. Left rear wheel nut jammed. And he came out, instead of coming out of the pit lane with about a 5 to 6 second lead over Lando, which would have been enough for him to have won the race, even though he was on scrubbed medium tyres. He came out with Lando in his mirrors. And at that moment, because Austria has 3 DRS zones, it's a very compact circuit, he was a sitting duck. So it was going to be fascinating from that moment, I thought, to see how Max was going to win that race, because you couldn't even imagine that Max Verstappen wasn't going to win the Austrian Grand Prix. The home race of Red Bull, he'd been leading from the start, he was on the pole, he won the sprint race, he was on the pole for the sprint race, the whole thing. And yet, there seemed to be no way Lando wasn't going to win it, because he had 3 DRS zones and a new set of tyres, and the McLaren was patently quicker in terms of grip, and he was certainly obviously not going to lose in a straight line because of DRS, than the Red Bull. So what happened? Well, what happened was there was a sort of mix and match and confusion, all induced by DRS. Massive approach speeds, huge speed differentials, which resulted in Lando, even if he wasn't really trying, just arriving at the braking area, I don't know, 10, 15 kilometers an hour quicker than Max Verstappen, and then sort of scrabbling around. And a couple of times he was down the inside at turn 3, which was obviously one of the overtaking places. 3 DRS zones, that's the end of the first DRS zone. And he ran wide and got sort of ahead, and then he had to give the position back to Max, which he duly did. Then he tried it at the end of the back straight going into 4, and it didn't kind of work there. And so he was kind of left in this thing where, yeah, maybe it's going to have to be into turn 3. And approaching turn 3, they're doing what? 300 kilometers an hour. It's very, very quick bit of road. It's very high speed braking because you're braking down to a very slow speed corner. And that's where the big advantage from DRS comes into play. So he's got this huge speed advantage. And I think on the lap in which the accident happened, lap 63, when the race was going through to lap 77, I think on that lap, Lando was thinking, okay, I won't dive bomb him. What I'll do here is basically stay on the outside, and I'll try and do an undercut coming out of 3, and I'll be in perfect position then to DRS him on that top straight and then get him into 4. And that'll be the cleanest way of doing it. And that would have worked for sure. The problem is the regulation, because Max, how is Max going to defend given the way the regulations are written, and given that he's a racing driver that wants to win the Austrian Grand Prix and defend as racing drivers want to defend? I think Max, until that point, and even then, did a very good job. He was kind of in the middle of the...
Oh my god, man, it's so much interesting to listen to Peter Misser. We have this retard that give this brain that take, and then we have Peter Misser that maybe don't like the rules, but at least acknowledge that the rules exist. Lime yellow. No yellow. Nope.
The road whenever he was likely to be passed by Lando with a huge speed differential. And he always moved at exactly the moment that was coincidental with potentially moving a little bit to the outside for the corner ahead, just a fraction, just enough to unsettle Lando. That caused Lando to get on the radio to say, he's moving in response to my move, and that's incredibly dangerous, that shouldn't be allowed. But of course Max was doing it really well and doing it beautifully. Going into this, on the lap in question, 63, going into turn 3, Max was doing his usual thing. He braked perfectly, even though he didn't have the same grip level as Lando. Didn't lock up or anything. He was on the inside, he was in the middle of the road, but sort of had the corner protected. And again, he was making it clear that if Lando was going to pass him there, he was going to have to do it on the outside. There wasn't enough room on the inside. And Lando duly went up on the outside this time. And as I say, I suspect his thinking was, I'll do an undercut here and on exit. And if you closely study Max's onboard, he doesn't actually move to the left at all. What is actually happening is that the track is angled slightly to the left there. He keeps absolutely straight on the steering. It looks as if he's moving to the left, which is possibly what the stewards are looking at. But if you look at his steering angle, he doesn't change anything. He keeps...
Oh my god, so it's not Max Verstappen's fault.
It's in a straight line. I think the real problem is that Lando's carrying the speed differential is artificially big because of DRS. Lando didn't need to be catching him at that rate when they're on hard brakes, and he's not trying to overtake him because all he wanted to do was do an undercut coming out on the exit. And that was the problem. And all of a sudden he got this speed differential and the track's going slightly to the left. Lando's just sort of here. He's not going over the curb on the left. And they just touch right front. Left rear at Red Bull hit Lando's right front. Instant puncture for the Red Bull and an almost instant puncture for the McLaren. And then a retirement for the McLaren. He then got the penalty for moving the steering to the left, which was all a bit odd. And it's even more odd because virtually as I've been talking at the beginning of this video, a ruling has come in from the FIA stewards about a penalty for Lando Norris. I mean, first of all, I should say Max got that penalty. Not that it makes any difference to his race. He finished 5th in the end on a new set of soft tyres. But this is coming now. Bear in mind that on lap 58, we heard Lando's race engineer get onto the radio to say, you're in right on the edge on track limits, Lando. Be very careful on track limits. You've had the black and white flag, which means there's a warning. You will have no other warnings. Apparently, after that, Lando then exceeded track limits again. Nothing to do with the skirmish with Max. Nothing to do with running wild.
Oh shit! So he got the before.
And then giving the position back. This is all just Lando on his own going over a track limit because it's timed at 16:12, which was laps 58ish around there. So yeah, long before they've had that shunt or anything like that. Lando, this is what it says: infringement, breach of Article 33.3, 5-second time penalty for Lando Norris. Stewards reviewed video evidence and found that car 4, Lando Norris, left the track on 4 occasions without justifiable reason after having received the black and white flag on the 3rd occasion. This is a breach of blah, blah, blah. So here's the news. If that decision had been made, and that decision was made after the end of the race, that was published after the end of the race, but we knew there was some investigation going on. If that decision had been published, obviously, or given out during the course of the race, Max Verstappen would have won the Austrian Grand Prix because he would have just let Lando pass with his 5-second penalty and followed in the DRS and finished, a few seconds behind him and won the race. Incredible, eh? What a twist that is to this Grand Prix, to this very volatile Austrian Grand Prix. And
oh my god, so P1 take was even more blinded than ever. They were fucking browny grey. That's so fucking
and if that's
stupid.
not enough, there was another incident which, if Red Bull and Max feel slighted that they were given a penalty for that incident with Lando, which resulted in them effectively both losing the race, either of them could have won that race. If they feel slighted by that, then I think they should feel lucky that they didn't get a penalty for an unsafe release of Max from his second pit stop. The pit stop when he went on to his set of scrub mediums and it was delayed by that left rear wheel nut. I say that because Lando gets on the radio, and I think the TV proves this to be the case. Lando gets on the radio to say that I had to come out of the throttle to avoid Max as he pulled out in front of me. I couldn't turn into my box until he'd pulled out in front of me. And to my mind, that was an unsafe release, an unfair and unsafe release by Red Bull for Max Verstappen, obviously brought about by the delayed pit stop anyway and the panic that inevitably ensues because of that. And although that did go to the stewards, no further action has been taken. And I think Red Bull should feel quite relieved about that because, to me, it's quite lucky they didn't get a penalty. And the reason they didn't get a penalty, interestingly, is that car 1, Max Verstappen, was released from his pit stop station when car 4 was approaching. There is a possibility that car 1 hindered car 4 on its approach to the pit stop. However, Article 34.14a specifies that a car is considered to be released in an unsafe manner if it could endanger pit lane personnel or another driver. This was not the case, and therefore no further action is taken. No, I think that's a very grey area because presumably, and this is a pretty strong argument, is it not, that Lando Norris and McLaren could easily argue that if Lando had just done what he would have done in normal circumstances, if Max hadn't been there at all, he would have hit the Red Bull. And if it hit the Red Bull, it would have endangered pit personnel and it might have endangered a driver as well.
Sure.
So I don't buy that, to be honest. I think the stewards did the right thing by the letter of the regulations in giving Max the penalty for that shunt. But I don't agree with that. I think Red Bull were very lucky to get away with that from that pit stop. So, yeah, there we are. I think, I don't want to detract from George Russell winning a Grand Prix for Mercedes this year, and congratulations to George on his second Grand Prix win, and to Mercedes for getting that win. He was in a very good P3, well, P3 for most of the race, a very good P3 off the line, had a bit of a fight with Lewis Hamilton for a lap or two. Lewis actually passed him, then George immediately repassed him, DRS. But George after that was pretty clean and did a really good job. He did the last stint, interestingly, on a new set of hard tyres. And, well, before I get on to that, the detail of why he ran those hard tyres, let's just talk about what the build-up to how Lando and Max were so closely matched. Well, not closely matched, actually. How that situation arose at the back end of the race. Because the problem was for Max was twofold. One, he was on a scrub set of mediums and Lando was on a new set of mediums. Big difference in performance. And two, he'd lost all that time in that delayed pit stop. So all of a sudden...
Yeah, he got fucked so much. Bad tires, bad pit stop, and then Lando Norris close.
He was under pressure and he didn't have the same grip level, unlike any other phase of the race, as the McLaren right now. So you'd be thinking, where's it? How did that happen? Why is Max not on a new set of mediums? Well, the answer to that, of course, is, and if you remember the video I did on Friday, I was going on and on about how Lewis Hamilton was doing all these runs on the hard tyre, these fuel runs on the hard tyre, and everybody else was out trying the soft or the medium, which were the tyres that were going to be used in sprint qualifying and obviously would define the grid for the sprint. And I was saying, I was amazed that Mercedes didn't put either driver on the soft or the medium. They did 2 laps with George on the soft, but neither driver ran a medium tyre. Whereas, interestingly, Red Bull did run a new set of mediums on Max and Sergio Perez's car, almost uniquely. So a couple of others at the back did, but amongst the front runners, Red Bull were the only team on Friday morning to run a new set of mediums out of the pit lane for the entire session. Everybody else ran hard tyres. And I suspect that's because Red Bull, knowing the circuit well and being very good on preparation and where they're going with strategy, I think it's because Red Bull thought that the way to win this race was going to be medium off the line and then 2 sets of new hard tyres. And I think that's why they used those mediums in that first bit on Friday. The problem came early in the race on Sunday when Charles Leclerc had a very messy opening lap and came in with damage on the car and came in on medium tyres and came in and they put him on a new set of hards, thinking, well, he's lost the race, but we might as well put him on hard tyres and just get him to run as long a stint as he can and pick up track position. And the interesting thing is that after about 5 laps, Charles was saying, these tyres are terrible, there's no grip at all. And they brought him in after 15 laps and put him on a set of mediums, their only remaining new set of mediums. And then after that, 2 scrub sets of mediums. That's how desperate they were never to run the hard tyre. And that reverberated right down the pit lane. And all of a sudden, everybody was not panicking. A few teams were panicking, Red Bull for sure, that the hard tyre on this Sunday afternoon was not the way to go. And almost immediately, Lando's engineer got on the radio to say, Lando, keep going, keep pushing. We've got a really good chance in this race because we've got 2 new sets of mediums. Red Bull have only got 1. So at the first pit stop, both Lando and Max went to new set of hards, no problem. But the issue for Red Bull was what to run for that last stint because they had another new set of hards, but only a scrub set of mediums. Lando Norris had another set of mediums. And because Lando at the end of that stint was...
So Charles Leclerc ruined Red Bull's thinking about the hard tires.
Still within striking distance of Max, 7 to 8 seconds, not enough for it really to be an easy gap. Red Bull felt obligated to have to put Max on a set of medium tyres. It was a scrub set. And I think because they knew Lando had that new set of mediums, they couldn't take the risk of putting him back on a hard compound tyre, running 2 sets of hard. Indeed, there was a bit of a cameo in this race where towards the end of the second stint, when Max was running out of grip on his hard tyre, and he lost the rear on the hard, so maybe that's another reason that Red Bull decided to put him on those scrub mediums for the third stint. Anyway, he was running out of grip on those hard tyres, and he passed both Haas Ferraris, lapped them, but then they stayed with him. Their tyres were newer at that point, and they're very quick in a straight line. And a couple of times Max got on the radio to say the problem are the 2 guys behind, by which he meant the 2 Haas Ferraris, and how uncomfortable it was for him to be constantly seeing them in his mirrors and having to worry about them and whether they're going to repass him under DRS, obviously. And it just shows again the whole unsettling thing of DRS coming into play in unexpected ways. You'd normally not expect that to be an issue, but from Max's point of view, I think he found that very uncomfortable, that he just passed these 2 cars. And now here they were, because of DRS, they didn't get past in the end, but it meant Max had to put a little bit more into those tyres and through the energy of the tyres than he would have liked. But not detracting, of course, from any job that Nico and Kevin did. They did a really good job in that car.
Yeah,
now, the interesting counterpoint to that is that George Russell ran a new set of hards for that last stint, uniquely amongst all the top runners. And it was a very good tyre for him. It put him in a position where he'd suddenly got the lead of the race. There was quite a lot of pressure from Oscar Piastri, a little bit from Carlos Sainz, both of whom were on medium tyres. Oscar's slightly newer than Carlos Sainz's. And Oscar was always going to be quick. He just had a really scrappy opening lap when he'd got a drama. He had a first corner drama with Charles Leclerc and then ran wide out of turn 4. Well, Sergio Perez ran him wide out of turn 4 and he dropped about 4 places, but he recovered beautifully and was in really strong position. And I think that hard tyre was absolutely the right compound for George to have over the last 2 or 3 laps when he could rely on it. There was no way it was going to go away or start graining, and he could lean on it if he needed to. So it was a great call by Mercedes. And here, I have to reflect also back to Friday when, if you recall, I gave Mercedes a pretty hard time, not a really hard time, a pretty hard time, for running Lewis on so many laps with fuel on that hard tyre. Well, guess what? That was probably what gave Mercedes the confidence to run that hard tyre, even though Charles Leclerc had been trashing it early on in the race. It was that homework on Friday with Lewis Hamilton that won the race for George Russell. That's obviously a bridge.
That's beautiful.
I'm just saying.
Lewis Hamilton did the groundwork, and George Russell won because of that. Man, Lewis Hamilton will celebrate so much now, thanks to that. Little yellow.
That to wind up all the Lewis fans, but no, I think it was indeed. They did a lot of laps. They knew that hard tyre very well, and I think now the conundrum that Red Bull will have is twofold. One, had they known about Lando's penalty, the shunt would never have happened and they would have won the race. And two, look how well George did on that hard tyre in the last stint. So maybe they should have run the hard anyway on that last stint. Not that it would have made that much difference because of the poor pit stop and the time they lost, but maybe it would have just changed things around a little bit. Maybe that scrub medium was not a great tyre for Max to be on for at least the first 3 or 4 laps. Certainly his first lap out of the pits, after putting that tyre on, into turn 4, he had a massive lock-up. And I think it was that massive lock-up, great view Lando had of it too, going into 4, which is always a downhill right-hander. He had that view. And I think from that moment, Lando felt, wow, I can win this Grand Prix. I just got to get past the guy. And that lock-up said a lot too. Would he have had that lock-up on the new hard? Probably not. So it all came back to Friday. There was a mixture of strategies. It came also down to DRS, and I've been saying for a long time we don't need DRS with these cars. It is easier to follow them, but much more significantly, I think, and nobody ever talks about this, the toe is actually quite pronounced with these cars, even without DRS, as shown by Max Verstappen in the sprint race. Yeah, great pass by Max on Lando in the sprint race, but he didn't have DRS, and he did the pass. He used the toe as a traditional old school racing driver would use without DRS, and that's an art that's kind of gone now because DRS just hands everything to you. But what is it actually handing now? It's handing, as Lando would be the first to agree with, it's landing you with an unbelievable speed differential advantage. It's not actually handing you a pass, it's handing you the speed differential pass advantage. And it's happening, in the case of that first DRS zone in Austria, it's happening from very high speed, let's call it 300 kilometers an hour, into very heavy braking, into a tight right-hander, where lots of things can happen. And if you've got a big speed differential, you can carry that into a braking area, but you're going to be almost a passenger in terms of how slow the other car's going to be going. Even if you don't try to brake too late, there's going to be a massive speed differential. And it was almost like a sort of traffic jam thing going into turn 3 that eventually resulted in that shunt. It wasn't Lando trying to overtake necessarily. I think he was just wanting to be there to get the run on the inside on exit. And it wasn't Max aggressively shutting a door, which is a sort of traditional way of preventing someone overtaking you. It was Max on the inside, kind of doing it correctly. You know, at what point do the sporting regulations say that as you approach a corner, you're not allowed to move the steering wheel 2 degrees to the left in order just to give you a little bit of an exit? You can't write that into the rule book. And I think one of the problems is they've got this rule which is in complete disconnect with the reality of motor racing and what racing drivers do. So George, very good job. Mercedes, very good job. The car wasn't as quick as obviously over the lap as the Red Bull or the McLaren, but George got the most from it. As I say, he had a bit of a battle with Lewis. Lewis got a DRS pass quite early on, and then George immediately DRS'd him back and then pulled away. And Mercedes, to their credit, stuck to their guns with that choice of tyre for George as well. P2, Oscar Piastri, that scrappy opening lap, but very quick at the end. And good result for him, very good result. And P3, Carlos Sainz, a little bit unlucky. His tyres were slightly older than Oscar. His medium tyres slightly older than Oscar's. He passed Carlos after George had taken the lead, after that shunt. It's a little bit disappointing. It would have been nice to have seen Carlos defending a bit more aggressively. But then again, you know, we live in this DRS world. And from Carlos's point of view, he was kind of on the edge of where he could be with the tyres. And there was a podium there for Ferrari, the first one since Monaco. So
yeah, Charles Leclerc could maybe have won if he didn't have the problem.
Just make sure he brought the car home. So he did a good job. P4, Lewis Hamilton, who had a up and down race. He was kind of there with George early on, and he would feel now disappointed, of course, that the win didn't come his way, particularly given all that fuel running he did on Friday morning on the hard tyre. But he did get a penalty. He got a 10-second penalty for crossing over the white entry line of the pit lane, probably due to a late call. But there was a lovely sort of Terry Neuville moment when he realised that he had to come in and did one of these, and Mercedes is kind of on opposite lock, so he comes into the pit lane, looked pretty cool, but he got a penalty for going over the white line. Max was 5th with his penalty, and 6th and 8th were Haas Ferrari with Nico Hülkenberg and Kevin Magnussen. Fabulous day for them, great performance by both drivers and by the team in general. Ever since Ao Komatsu has taken over, it's looked a different team, really, isn't it? Very, very good. They sandwiched Sergio Perez, who just went round and round as ever, as he has done this weekend, complaining about understeer. Daniel Ricciardo, a very good ninth. Congratulations to him in front of the Red Bull crowd. And P10, very good drive by Pierre Gasly. Again, a very fraught battle with his teammate Esteban Ogone, who'd kind of looked quicker, slightly quicker all weekend, but when it came down to the race, Pierre got the run, he got the DRS run, and there was a big drama between the two of them. Coming out of turn 3, no real surprise there. Esteban finished 12th in the end, and Charles Leclerc was 11th after all those pit stops and all that drama in the first lap. And so what a day. They've been very close, as I say, Max and Lando, in these last couple of races. And eventually, I suppose it all had to come to an end. Bit of a shame it did so in the way it happened, but congrats to George on his win and to Mercedes. A lucky win, obviously, but at the same time they were there to pick up the pieces, the debris, the punctures and the bodywork as Max and Lando drove back to the pit lane. I blame DRS for all of this, most of it anyway, and I think the decision made by the stewards probably okay. I think Red Bull, they lost on one decision. They may think they lost on one decision, but certainly they gained on another. And from McLaren's point of view, just very unlucky. I think Lando could have won that race easily had he pulled off the pass that he was just about to execute, the one coming out underneath Max, coming out of 3. So very unfortunate for Lando. But he'll be fine after this. Next race is Silverstone, home crowd, British Grand Prix. And he'll be loving all this, as will George Russell. I mean, Silverstone ticket sales have been down a little bit. Wow, George Russell goes and wins the Austrian Grand Prix. Lando Norris has a shunt with Max Verstappen for the lead. What a build-up. Big thanks to Jetcraft, to OEM Exclusive, and to Track Ninja, and to you, of course, for watching. See you very soon.
Sure. Oh shit, one more. No, light blue. No, it's light blue. Light blue. Nope, light blue is... Nope. Black lime. Pause. Pause. Man. The race could have been so much better. But it didn't. It didn't happen. At least I can be happy with the Formula 2 and Formula 3 race. But man, Formula 1 could have been also great. White, light blue. White, light blue. Oh, the old Sunstreak. Green, light grey. Green. Okay, we have green. Oh, we need to do more signs soon. Man, that... So boring. Green? Sunstreak, Sunstreak. Hopefully, what's it called? House of the Dragon Season 2 Episode 3 will be more good than... oh jäklar, green. Green, white. Oh, nice. Probably will be. So that will hopefully be fun to watch. Orange. Orange black. Blue lime. Blue lime. Purple black. Why didn't Landon Norris get past Max Verstappen? Purple black, purple black. Okay, remove this. Let's see, we have Sunstreak green. God damn it. Sunstreak green. Let's see, green. Oh shit. Light gray. Do we have any light gray? Nope. No white. So first we need to do... No! Nice. And then we have stripy light blue. Stripy light blue. I mean, it would be so amazing to see Lando Norris just get it past Max Verstappen and just lead in a race for some laps and then wins it. And Max Verstappen P2. And that will be funny. Lando Norris then get the 5-second penalty and then lose the win. That will be something. Little yellow. But I wonder how they what they would do now, because the penalty was apparently before he was over the line on the screen. At least what Peter Windsor said, and I don't believe he will be lying. Dasher purple. Dasher purple. And man, that's so interesting to see how Peter Windsor see the Lando Norris and Max Verstappen fighting versus what P1 did with Tom and Matt. This night and day. Browny black. I mean, the wheel knowledge for Peter Windsor is so 100% better than what Matt and Tommy will ever have. Do we have any more? Nope. Now, is that all done? Let's do this before. Let's see. We'll place that one. Then we place like that. Can we remove that one? Just like that I have done. Yeah, the upper one will get the chest. One. And now we can do it here also. Nice. Hopefully Lando Norris can finally get his second win at least in Silverstone then. Could that happen? Or will it be one more crash? Maybe Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen 2021 crash? Could that happen again? No, this was before. I remember one more George Russell win. That was so lame. Oscar Piastri would be so more fun to see winning. But nope, he didn't. Oh, Charles Leclerc! Man, that Sir Perez ruined his race. And then didn't even win himself. Oh, and then Haas, all the points they got. Man, everything with that race was so boring. The ending of the fight, then George Russell winning. I mean, the only good with George Russell winning, that is Lewis Hamilton has still not won in Mercedes. And if the information Peter Wissler said was correct, that only Lewis Hamilton was driving the hard tires, so he did all the groundwork to make some George Russell could win. You know, that's something ironic. Let's see, Brown Magenta. Where can we have Brown Magenta? I feel like Brown should be here. Brown Magenta. Oh, we have... The fuck are we looking for? Blockfish Brown. Yeah, we have brown fish. Do it actually called briny? No, it's briny, not briny fish. That's why it looks so weird. But here we have the Blockfish Brown. Brown Magenta. There we have it. One fish EA. I almost wrote Blockfish Magenta, then we Blockfish Black. Man, the points Haas got. That's so disgusting. When I want to see Visa Cash Up or before I want him get points or Alpine getting points. And hoping for Hamilton. Williams to get points. And then you see, for some reason, Haas getting 12 points. For some reason. Like, the fuck is happening? Orange lime. At least Pigasly got one more point, so he can secure his lead against Esteban Ogone more. Gray. Yellow. Yellow, red. Okay, gray, magenta. Briny gray should be, I believe, here somewhere. Or is it the other side? Briny red. Briny gray, the fuck, did I miss it? I probably did. Man, this is so fucking annoying. When you can't find what you're looking for. Nope. There we have it. Fuck me. Briny grey magenta. Grey. Time for the clay fish. Black lime. Yeah, black lime, Magnanta. And man, Perez. He for some reason couldn't get past the haas. I mean, that must be the most depressing race he had been driving. Couldn't do apparently nothing in the race. I mean, if this continues, I mean, I still believe he will still be in Red Bull, but the construction ship between, I will guess, Ferrari. That fight will happen in the next year. I mean, Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc will just farming points. If they have good races, and apparently Charles Leclerc this race couldn't have a good race. And for some reason just he never looked good after the start. So depressing. I mean, so much stuff happened that was so depressing to see. Haas get the points. Charles Leclerc didn't have a good race. Lando Norris didn't have a good race. Max Verstappen didn't have a good race. Or a good race in that it ended bad. Visa Cash Bobby Formula 1 team, Alpine, Williams, you can say didn't have a good race. Ricciardo and Gasly maybe get points, but Haas had so much better race. At least the ending. 12 points. Sorry, Paris had well a race that they usually have. Real nothing race. Oh yeah, gray we have over here. Cob gray. Gray red. Gray purple. Blue. Pink. Cob lime. They were cob lime. Cob lime. Lime light blue. And now the S fishes left. And now we can place them down in the aquarium. Brown, pink. I mean, the only thing I can be happy with this race day is Formula 2. Formula 3 was somewhat good. Formula 3 had the ending you wanted. Max Verstappen and Norris. The ending that they should have had. They both fighting. No touching. And in the end, someone of them wins. In this case, Dino Beganovic was leading. against Mini. It should be just Mini. Yeah, Mini. And they are trying to fight each other, and then Mini get past, and then he stayed ahead. And that's something that Norris should probably have succeeded with. Do some fighting. Try to see if Max Verstappen can make a mistake. Maybe he will do a mistake, and then you just pass him. And then you win, and then you can be happy, and you can celebrate, and everyone will love this race. And then it ends badly. And can you be happy if you're a Max Verstappen fan? No. Norris fan? No. If you're a Charles Leclerc fan, you will probably never be happy. Are you a Carlos Sainz fan? I mean, he finished P3. Can you be happy with that? I don't know. It looked like he could maybe have won the race, but he didn't. I mean, you cannot be happy if you're a Lewis Hamilton fan and see George Russell winning again in a Mercedes. In an era when Hamilton have not won a race. The last time was Saudi Arabia 2021. And then maybe thanks to his help in the practice, George Russell won that race. So if you're a George Russell fan, you can maybe be happy. Don't know if you can be happy if you're Oscar Piastri fan, because his race, the qualifying ruined for him. Then the stuff happened in the race, can't somewhat be happy with. And then knowing that he could maybe have won the race will make you probably not happy. Oh, if you're a Haas fan / Kevin Magnusson / Hülkenberg fan, then you're probably super happy. Otherwise, I mean, how many people can actually be happy after this race? So much stuff happened that are not fun. No light blue. And also that snooper. We need a stripy light blue. Stripy light blue. Sunstreak grey. Stripy light. We are light grey flopper. What the fuck? Where is the light blue? There are light blue. Light blue lime. Okay, that's why I don't remember it. I just placed this down. Stripy white. Stripy white. White light blue. Maybe if you're a Gasly fan, you can maybe be happy. Got points. No, 1 point. And Esteban Ogone did get nothing, and maybe you're happy that Ricciardo finished ahead Yuki Tsunoda. See, purple. And got some 2 points. But finished behind. Haas can't be that happy. Well, I can't be that happy with that. Sunstreak purple. I believe. Yeah, there we have it. Sunstreak purple. purple black? Did we have purple black? Okay, we're done. How many fishes will I go minus? 22. See, 18, 20, 22, 24, minus 2, 22. 18, 22, so 21 minus 22. So we are up 1,821 fishes. $1,821. We are going slowly but steady closer to the 2,700 goal. Okay, did I go right? The right way? I did. Lanterns is in the right way, on a torches is in the wrong place. And let's place down some more fishes. They have still not fixed that bug. That's so annoying. Okay, blockfish brown magenta, blockfish black green, briny orange lime, briny grey magenta, briny yellow red, clayfish black lime, clayfish magenta blue, dasher orange green, flopper white brown, glitter blue red. Cob black green, cob grey red, cob grey purple, cob blue lime, cob pink black, cob lime light blue. Yep. Snooper brown pink, snooper orange red, spotty blue grey, stripy light blue lime, stripy white light blue, sunstreak purple black. That's something we should do. Make more buckets for the collection, so we are ready when we are. Man, the day when every square block in this aquarium is full with fishes. I mean, here's like nothing. It's like some fishes, some part of the place, and then we have the backside. Almost every block is full with fishes. So beautiful to see. Let's see. Do Kym Illman when we have something to... No, he doesn't. Man, fuck me. That race! It ended so bad. Oh wait, let's see. If Lando Norris and Max Verstappen didn't finish, then Ricciardo and Pegassi will not get any points. The only good thing is Nico Hülkenberg and Kevin Magnussen will just get 8 points instead of 12. I don't know how much that will actually do. And yeah, that's happened also because of their points. Haas are now I had Alpine with fucking 10 points. And it's so disgusting because Kevin Magnussen, the fuck he did in like Saudi Arabia and the races after that, to get maybe 1 point when Williams or Visa Cash Up or Formula 1 team could get their first points, and then they do this. It's like, did you really need to fight so much to make sure that you get 1 point that race when Williams could maybe get their first points? That's so disgusting. Getting 12 points, and then before that they were being disgusting in the race to just get 1 point and ruin the race for the other teams. So not fun to see. Nope, no more fish for the collection. Let's see, do really Kym Illman not have anything to show? See, can we have anything else? I mean, I don't want to listen to the the interviews after this race. Nothing to I want to hear. Well, let's see. We can then, yeah, I will do some more. I don't know, can you call this fishing? Am I really fishing? I'm swimming around with a bucket and collect fishes. Is that fishing? Define the word fishing. I think like you need at least a rod or something. Make the fish get caught and then you take it up. This is, I mean, this is one way to maybe fish. Either way, collecting fishes is maybe what I'm actually doing. I collect them to have every different colored tropical fish. But yeah, I will doing this for some time, and then yes, before House of the Dragon season 2 episode 3 come out, I will end the stream, because that thing I will be watching. I can't be streaming at the same time. Well, I can, but it will be ruin everything for me. Like I think watching Formula 1 races live also could be. Because it will be, man. So I want to watch it. It will just be weird. Okay, but more fun thing than Formula 1. What can happen in the House of Dragons episode 3 season 2? Something about what the end of episode 2 will probably start with. Oh, where Damon, what he went, maybe seeing what he will be doing. And yeah, what more can happen? Maybe some more stuff in the Red Keep will maybe happen. What could more happen? I hope some more fighting will happen. Man, the biggest thing I'm waiting for. The armies, or the big army fights, and some dragon fights. When the real Dance of the Dragon starts, I'm waiting for. I mean, the build-up, you can say, is good, but man, I want to have the build-up being done, so I can actually see what I actually want to see. I want to see the war. Sadly, the war will probably also not last so long, so... I mean, it will maybe be many and big wars that will happen, but it will not like be 1 hour of people just fighting. It will be maybe 30 minutes. Or maybe less than that, 20 minutes. When one episode can just be the beginning of the war. The next season, or next episode, will be the middle part. And then the episode after that will be the ending of the war. I mean, that will be my dream. But it will probably not happen. Sadly. See what more happens. Rings of Power is still not out. And Amazon will probably not want to have it out. Acolyte is going super great for Star Wars. Not at all bad. Oh, in the next year, I think I've heard that some more Game of Thrones stuff will happen. I'm guessing Sir Dunkel the Tall, or whatever he's called. Sir Duncan. Could it be that? Sir Duncan the Tall. Yep, Sir Duncan the Tall. Yeah, so this picture I saw, and people are thinking it must be him, Sir Duncan the Tall. So that could be somewhat interesting. And maybe they will do a reboot when if what is called? He's called Josh something. Oh my god, what's his name? Josh. Game of Thrones. George R.R. Martin, okay. So I was right with George. Man. I was so much thinking about George Lucas. I'm thinking like, man, do we really have George's name, or just think George Lucas? Because he was in the paddock in Formula 1. Probably more interesting to watch Formula 1 than Acolyte. But when George R.R. Martin can finally finish the books of Game of Thrones, maybe they can, maybe HBO can reboot the yeah, the season 8, or maybe do a season 9 and 10. Or maybe even season 9, or season 7. Oh, Trident. Can we get a Trident? And maybe they could be also a future thing. Doing the Robert's Rebellion. Could maybe happen. Could maybe be fun. What more Game of Thrones could they be making? Oh, that also something. What's he called? I mean, the beginning of the Targaryen rule. How King's Landing is made and everything. Yeah, we can do some swimming. 4 more minutes, I would say. Then the stream will end, and then it's 20 minutes at least for me until I can watch House of the Dragon Season 2 Episode 3. And I will have maybe some food to eat with that, hopefully. Probably not, who knows. One more fish for the collection. Let's see what I've got. Briny blue pink, sunstreak orange purple, spotty grey lime, briny brown light blue, pink green. Flopper. Oh yeah, I didn't get a trident. That's boring. Why did... Man. I want tridents. I want to... a full double chest of just tridents that I can just collect. And just having them in the chest. Because they will never be used. Because I already have 4 different tridents or 3. That I've already fixed up to be the best version of every type. I mean, I one with channeling, I don't know what it's called, and the other one that's make you move fast in water, or move fast. You can jump in water and do everything in a speed boost, and the one you throw and get back. And I think I have one with let's see, we can actually look at that. Where can I have that? Could it be here? Let's see, Riptide, channeling. Okay, so it's only 3. because the here we have the loyalty. Yeah, the other no. Oh, the text will be in purple also. Oh, magenta. Huh. Interesting. They have changed some stuff. Let's see. This one should try and collect. And this one should be in here. Well, if they don't get any new enchantment for the tridents, then I will just be laying in the chest. Okay, I will say we are done. At least for today. For today. Oh yeah, that should I do before I forget that was planning to do. Oh shit, we need to place that away. Oh no, we should place it in here. Now we can no, let's see, we should oh shit. Most wasted way to do this stuff. Now that's done. Now we have more buckets to play with. Oh yeah, they were the iron. I need to collect more iron soon. More iron for the collection, and I am not. Why do I forget to do that all the time? The shulker box with the wood. I always forget to place it back down in the chest. So now we can maybe start ending the stream. Okay, let's see. 1821. 1821. 1821. Nope, one more. Come on. Eight. Oh, 1821. 1821. 1821. Okay, done. That is done. So yeah, we have collected now 1,821. That is 979. Ah, fuck me, I need to see it. 979, 179, 879 more tropical fishes is need to be collected. Is that right? 979, 179, 879. Either way, it's closer than it was before I started, so that's a good one. So yeah, it will probably be more depressing talk about Formula 1. Oh, disgusting. Next time, hopefully not. Fuck that. This race was so bad. Formula 2, Formula 3 was good, but no, Formula 1 and it's so bad.